splash of hot liquid sends our protagonist into a frenzy of frustration. He's desperate for a payday to escape his miserable grind. Sighs as he surveys the loud, filthy studio district that serves as his daily prison. Hidden away in this urban sprawl is his pathetic, tiny 180-square-foot rooftop home. It's another night of instant ramen for Bong Joon-hyuk, a 25-year-old professional bottom feeder juggling 3 soul-crushing part-time jobs. He works like a dog, but his bank account stays at zero thanks to a mountain of soul-crushing debt. He's trapped in a cycle of poverty, forced to endure a life of misery just to keep the creditors at bay. With no special skills and a worn-out body, he's convinced the future is just a dark, empty void. It's the classic, "I'm a total loser" monologue we all know and love. Groundbreaking stuff, really. Suddenly, the world shifts. Bong Joon-hyuk has officially awakened. Mid-slurp, he's hit with a revelation that freezes him in his tracks. That noodle bite just became the least of his worries. He shrieks in pain as the hot ramen burns his foot, his nerves already frayed by the sudden surge of energy. Is this for real? Has he finally awakened as a player? Awakening. Some call it a blessing from the heavens. It's the golden ticket to riches and a complete life overhaul if you don't die first, that is. But don't get excited yet. Entering the tower is a one-way trip to a gruesome grave. One wrong step and you're monster chow for some hungry beast. Or maybe you prefer dying of hypothermia or being roasted alive in extreme climates. If the elements don't get you, the poison surely will. From crushing traps to agonizing deaths, the tower is basically a giant, lethal playground. Joon-hyuk has spent his whole life avoiding trouble, even when he's staring injustice right in the face. He's been a textbook coward for 25 years, but now everything is changing. He rubs his eyes, wondering if he's finally snapped from sheer exhaustion. With a trembling hand, he calls out for his status window. The screen flickers to life, revealing his stats. Level 11, trait, Summon. He's officially entered the game. It's not a fever dream. His trait is actually summoning. Awakened individuals get all sorts of cool perks, from swordsmanship to giant transformations, but he got the summoning lottery ticket. Summoning spirits, demons, and golems, he's basically becoming a professional manager for monsters. What kind of badass creature is he going to call forth first? Time to put on a show and test his new powers with some serious flair. With a shout, he activates his skill, Summon. Wait, did it just say random summon? He braces himself for the results. Then he realizes the fatal flaw. Skills aren't supposed to work outside the tower. Everyone knows the rules. Tower skills are strictly for the tower, not for his tiny apartment. He feels like an absolute clown for even trying. Logic dictates nothing should happen, but logic rarely applies to protagonists. A system notification blares, initiating random summon. Wait, what? The ordinary door erupts into a blinding vortex of raw, crackling energy. Our hero stands paralyzed as the gateway to the unknown tears reality apart. The room shakes as the impossible occurs right before his eyes. He's stunned. Why is the system breaking its own rules in his living room? And then, out of the light, emerges a person. The stranger looks just as confused, confirming he's definitely human. This defies all common sense. A human summon appearing outside the tower? The newcomer sniffs the air with a strange, intense focus. He asks for a bite of the ramen, totally unfazed by the fact that he just materialized out of thin air. Of all the legendary heroes he could have summoned, he got a guy who just wants a midnight snack. The hunger is absolute as they inhale the steaming noodles in one massive, unstoppable slurp. Nothing stands between them and that satisfying bowl of gold. The guy acts like a total moocher, but at least he's got good taste in spicy flavors. Joon-hyuk is spiraling. How is this even possible without a tower gate? He scans the system info. He can summon humans and demi-humans, with grades ranging from rare to legend. It's like a gacha game, and he's praying he didn't just pull a common trash unit. He notices the 3 mandates binding his new guest. The rules are absolute. Protect the summoner, obey every command, and prioritize the summoner's safety above all else. Absolute obedience? That's actually a huge win for a guy who can't even get his landlord to listen. But who exactly is this guy he just pulled from the void? The catalog reveals all. John Cossack, an SR-grade assassin with a history of insanity. Cossack was a notorious lunatic, but he had a 99% success rate for a reason. He even took down a high-ranking dark mage before meeting his own end. Suddenly, a flood of memories crashes into Juhyok's mind. What's happening to him? A gut-wrenching scream tears through the void as he plummets into the abyss. The ultimate descent begins, and there's no turning back. The world flips upside down as a blinding surge of power sends him hurtling toward the ground. He's plummeting headfirst into the heat of battle. He gasps, reeling from the sudden sensory overload. Is this really Cossack's life? He's seeing the past through the eyes of a madman. The data flashes, showing his legendary ruthlessness. But he's not just a killer. He's a force of nature. He's gift-wrapping heads like it's Christmas morning. Talk about a twisted sense of humor. A cold, calculated smirk spreads across his face as he prepares to make his move. He's clearly up to no good, and someone is about to be in serious trouble. His legendary career came to an abrupt end after one final, desperate job. His target was the most dangerous man in the Empire. With a flash of lethal precision, he unleashes a blinding strike that cuts through the silence. His blade dances with deadly intent, leaving no room for mercy. He was going up against the Empire's strongest swordmaster. This memory is the final chapter of Cossack's life. The assassin turns his gaze toward Juhyok, awaiting his next move. Juhyok is terrified, but he finds his voice to issue an order. He remembers the mandates. This guy has to listen to him. A chilling silence descends as he prepares to make his move. The tension is absolutely suffocating. Juhyok orders him to clean up the table, and the assassin moves with terrifying speed to comply. No complaints, no hesitation. He's a perfect, albeit terrifying, servant. Juhyok realizes he really has absolute control over this monster. He asks if there are any limits, but the assassin confirms he will obey any command without question. Juhyok decides to test the boundaries of this absolute power. He orders him to bark like a dog, just to see if he's serious. He instantly regrets it, terrified that he's just poked a sleeping dragon. He's worried the assassin's pride will cause him to snap, but he has to know. To his shock, the mandate holds true, absolute, unquestioning obedience. A sudden blast shatters the silence, leaving the duo stunned in their tracks. Danger has arrived at their doorstep with an explosive entrance. The local loan sharks are at the door, and Juhyok realizes he's completely forgotten about the interest payment. He's in deep with the wrong people and they've come to collect. He's been drowning in interest for months, just trying to keep his family afloat. He knows he made a bad deal, but he had no other options when his father got hurt. The loan shark is getting aggressive, but Juhyok keeps his cool. He desperately orders Cossack to hide, fearing that if the assassin comes out, it'll be a bloodbath. He forces the assassin into the bathroom, praying he stays quiet. A heavy hand clamps down in a menacing grip, nowhere left to run as the tension hits a breaking point. The thug is mocking Juhyok, oblivious to the fact that a serial killer is hiding 5 feet away. Juhyok claims he already sent the money to buy himself some time. The shark suggests he sell his organs if he's short on cash. What a charming guy. They even threaten his younger brother, pushing Juhyok to his absolute limit. The hero's eyes burn with a chilling, murderous intent. He's finally had enough. The thug notices the change in Juhyok's demeanor and gets suspicious. Juhyok laughs it off, trying to act like his usual, pathetic self. The thug threatens him with a casual mention of death, unaware he's the one in danger. The loan sharks leave, and Juhyok breathes a sigh of relief as he realizes Cossack actually stayed put. He's exhausted, but the thought of climbing the tower is starting to feel like his only way out. He's terrified, but he knows he can't live like a rat forever. He asks Cossack what he wants to do, offering to let him go if he wishes. The assassin just wants to watch some television. How domestic. Juyak lets him watch a show, surprised by how normal his psychopathic assassin can actually be. The assassin gets sucked into a soap opera, completely ignoring the carnage he usually leaves behind. Juyak finds a strange sense of comfort in not being alone for once. Even for a killer, Cossack is surprisingly good company. He spent so long working himself to death in isolation that this feels like a luxury. The air crackles with intensity as he prepares to unleash his hidden power. A cold, lethal gaze marks the beginning of the end for his enemies. As the night drags on, the summon begins to fade. Cossack vanishes as the time limit expires, leaving Juyak alone again. Juyak notes the 6-hour limit and realizes he's definitely going to need more practice. He tries to shake it off and get ready for another day of work, but the morning news catches his eye. A breaking news report is flashing across the screen about an incident in the district. It's the loan shark firm, the one that visited him earlier. Juyak's blood runs cold as he realizes what happened. The report says the victims were all beheaded. The details are horrific. Heads wrapped in red ribbons. He can't believe his eyes. It was John Cossack. He didn't just summon a helper. He summoned a brutal, efficient murderer. The news is blowing up, and Juyak realizes he's in way over his head. A chilling silence hangs in the air as a bloodied hand hits the floor. The life force fades, leaving only the weight of a brutal end. A gruesome end meets a twisted display as 3 severed heads are mocked with festive red bows. Their final moments are frozen in a terrifying, blood-soaked tableau. He's completely screwed. There's no way he can hide his connection to this now. It's undeniable, the signature style is clearly Cossack's work. He heads to the store, but he's shaking too hard to function. He tries to ring up a customer, but his mind is spiraling into panic. The customer is confused, unaware that the clerk is having a total mental breakdown. He tries to apologize, but he's clearly not okay. He manages to finish the transaction, but he's hanging by a thread. He decides he's done with these part-time jobs. He needs to figure this out before he's arrested. The pressure is mounting as he realizes his life will never be normal again. Surrounded by the warmth of happy couples, our lonely protagonist walks a path of cold isolation. The world moves on in laughter while he drifts through the falling snow, completely alone. The city falls under a haunting blanket of winter snow, setting the stage for an ominous night. The silence on the rooftop is deafening. Something big is about to go down. He reviews the system data, realizing he's tied to a grade SR psycho. He tries to rationalize it. Cossack won't kill him, but that doesn't make him any less terrifying. He decides to test the summon system again, hoping for better results. The system alert chimes, locking his gaze onto a game-changing revelation. Everything is about to shift in an instant. The system asks for a satisfaction rating for his previous summon. He has to rate the guy who just decapitated his loan sharks. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. The summoner is absolutely fuming. He's looking at his murderous companion like he's ready to file a formal complaint with the manager of the afterlife. He pauses, deep in thought, weighing the pros and cons of keeping a homicidal maniac as a roommate. Despite the blood on the carpet, his soft heart just won't let him kick John to the curb. A system notification pings. The rating for John Cossack has officially plummeted to 3 stars. Ouch, that's going to hurt his resume. Having worked customer service himself, he knows the sting of a bad review. He decides he isn't going to be the guy who gives a 1-star rating today. John is summoned back and he's practically wagging his tail, overjoyed to be back in his master's presence. John is honestly touched by the 3-star rating, while the summoner is left wondering how a triple murderer is this polite. He stammers, his voice shaking as he prepares to confront his deadly new companion. With a deep, trembling breath, he demands the truth. Did John really kill those intruders yesterday? John confirms it with a beaming, terrifying smile. leaving the summoner realizing he's living with a stone-cold killer. The gravity of the situation hits home. He's looking at a guy who kills for fun and his stomach is doing somersaults of pure terror. He forces himself to keep breathing, praying that John doesn't decide to turn that blade on him next. John explains he used a mark of pursuit to track them down, purely because those fools dared to disturb their sanctuary. The summoner is completely baffled. Is a mark of pursuit even supposed to be a skill? John argues they were a threat that had to be neutralized, conveniently ignoring the fact that he was never given an order to kill. He starts citing legal loopholes from the 3 laws of the summoned, like he's a defense attorney for serial killers. The law is simple. Protect the summoner first, obey orders second. If they clash, protection wins. The summoner tests the logic, asking if John would refuse a direct order to kill his master, and John confirms he'd absolutely say no. They argue over what constitutes a threat, with the summoner pointing out that John's judgment is basically a coin flip. John doubles down, claiming he's just removing future risks. The summoner is convinced he's living with a total lunatic. John offers a polite apology for his nature, mentioning that psycho is a label he's heard quite a few times before. The summoner gets the logic, but that doesn't make having a loose cannon in the living room any less terrifying. He paints a hypothetical. If they go out and someone bumps into them, does John treat that as a death sentence? Usually, people just trash talk, but John sees every insult as a lethal threat. The summoner shudders, realizing his life is basically a walking minefield. The ultimate humiliation, a severed head, finished off with a cute red bow, stares into the void of defeat. John is reborn in his resolve, standing tall and ready to serve his master's every whim. The summoner panics as John drops to his knees, frantically telling him to get up before he loses his mind. He begs John to stop, but the killer refuses to promise he won't do it again unless he's physically stopped. Killing people on a hunch is a no-go, and John begrudgingly agrees to follow the rules for now. John's energy is way too high, and all the summoner wants is a nap. Just as he tries to de-escalate, John hits him with a bombshell question. He asks if the summoner has any plans to climb the tower. It's the opportunity of a lifetime, but our guy is definitely not the brave hero type. To be perfectly honest, he's absolutely terrified. One wrong move in the tower and it's game over. He could actually die. He wonders if John has ever been summoned by someone else before. A cold, calculated smirk spreads across his face as he prepares his next lethal move. Whatever he's plotting, it spells nothing but trouble for his enemies. The summoner admits he's a coward, feeling ashamed that he lacks the guts to risk his life for the greater good. He calls himself pathetic, but John clearly has a different perspective. John insists that he is the greatest summoner to ever walk the earth. According to John, the greatest virtue for a summoner is safety first. Being brave is just a shortcut to the grave. It's twisted, but it makes sense. If the summoner dies, the summon disappears, so safety is the ultimate strategy. John promises to handle all the dirty work himself. He encourages his master to just play it safe and enjoy a long, peaceful life. He spends a restless night tossing and turning, obsessing over whether to take the plunge into the tower. Maybe he should just stay out of it. The debt is gone, so why tempt fate? He convinces himself that a simple, boring life is the way to go. If he just works hard and stays under the radar, everything will be fine. Silence fills the room as he weighs his choices. A phone call interrupts his spiraling. His mother is calling about rehab and a hospital transfer. His mom is getting fired, and his heart sinks. But he hides his worry to keep her spirits up. They promise to eat together soon, and he hangs up with a heavy heart. A brief, quiet moment of domestic life in a world filled with monsters. The summoner gears up, officially labeling his gear as safety personnel equipment. He decides to just peek at the first floor. If it gets too scary, he's bolting. Wait, does he really have to stick with this crazy killer? Can he summon someone a little less murdery? Who knows, maybe his next pull will be a super rare hero. The system shuts him down hard. A 28-day cooldown? That's a whole month stuck with the psycho. John pops back in, overflowing with loyalty and ready for orders, totally oblivious to the summoner's failed trade-up attempt. The summoner puts on his best fake smile. John can't know he was looking for a replacement. He finally decides it's time to enter the tower, though he makes it clear that playing it safe is the only mission. John is ecstatic, ready to become the summoner's personal hunting dog. John promises a smooth ride. The summoner doesn't even have to lift a finger. The prompt appears, "Would you like to enter the Korea Black Tower? It's now or never." They're diving in. The screen flickers as they cross the threshold into the first floor. The transition is rough and the summoner is caught completely off guard. The space distorts around them. Reality shifts. They arrive in the belly of the beast. The air inside the Black Tower is thick and ominous. The first floor is a barren, desolate wasteland. The atmosphere is suffocating. The summoner feels sick, but John tells him he'll get used to the smell of death eventually. It's time to push past the safe zone and see what this place is made of. The system confirms his stats are rising with his level. His combat skills are finally active and ready for blood. It feels strange to be a player, but he's already feeling a surge of power. The mission is clear. Kill 5 fatty grubs within 2 hours, or it's game over. There they are, lurking in the distance. These grubs are basically walking punching bags, but their skin is tough as armor. Most players take half an hour per kill, but the summoner has a secret weapon. He reminds himself that he's a player now. He can do this. He tries to take a swing, but John is already there, ready to do the heavy lifting. The silence is shattered as a colossal, armored beast erupts from the earth. Our hero stands his ground, bracing for a clash of pure chaos. He realizes he needs a weapon, and John is more than happy to let him borrow one. He grips the hilt, feeling the cold steel. A colossal, nightmare-inducing beast looms directly behind him. The silence is deafening as death inches closer. Panic sets in. A cold sweat breaks out as he senses something sinister lurking right behind him. He freezes in place, terrified to turn around. With a radiant grin and a confident thumbs up, he seals the deal with absolute swagger. It's mission accomplished for our hero. Time to get to work. With a single, effortless strike, he obliterates the monster's defenses. The beast is left completely defenseless as green ichor sprays the battlefield. He warns the summoner to back off. Things are about to get messy. With a lethal smirk, he strikes with blinding speed, his glowing blades carving through the air. There's no escaping the reach of his razor-sharp assault. A barrage of lethal, glowing projectiles rips through the air. Our hero unleashes a storm of pure destruction. With a flick of his wrist, he shreds the incoming monsters into pieces. The battlefield erupts as his enemies are torn apart in an instant.
Blade explosion.
With a terrifyingly calm smile, he effortlessly deflects the incoming onslaught of magical projectiles. The battlefield trembles as he dominates the scene with absolute, bone-chilling ease. The summoner is stunned. Is this guy even human? He's watching a master at work. Mission accomplished, level up, and a massive reward of magic stones. Plus an S++ rank. To boot, a shiny platinum badge is awarded for his insane performance. Our chibi hero is absolutely beaming with joy. He's floating on cloud 9, lost in a fit of pure, giggling delight. The beta male summoner has no idea what he's just unleashed. Something is happening. The screen glows with an alert. A mysterious notification shatters the silence. Our hero stares down the glowing screen as the game changes forever. It's not just him. Everyone is getting the same notification. Every player in South Korea just got the exact same message. The path to the second floor is open, and they're being kicked out of the tower. Turns out clearing a floor is just a fast-track trip home. That was way too easy. He was in and out in 5 minutes flat. John is proud of his summoner's excellent work. The summoner is still reeling. While everyone else is sweating, he just cleared it without breaking a sweat. And then there's the loot. A real, genuine magic stone. The first one he's ever seen. These things are worth a fortune. 50,001 for a small chunk. After 20 years of tower appearances, everyone knows the basics, but this is a whole new level. But what the heck is a platinum badge? That wasn't in the manual. 50 grand in 3 minutes? He's basically a tycoon now. Time to celebrate with some TV. The rewards are piling up. He ordered jockball, but the smell of spice is hitting him. Did John mess up the order? Even with a legendary killer, you still have to double-check the takeout. He thanks John for his grace, though he's not entirely sure why he said that. John's speech patterns are rubbing off on him. That weird, polite ending is definitely an ex-summoner thing. It's like picking up bad habits from a toxic ex, but with more killing. It's weirdly entertaining to hear himself talk like that. Maybe the tower isn't so dangerous after all? He's already planning for the future. This is totally doable. The sun glares over the silent rooftop, hiding the secrets that lie behind that heavy metal door. Tensions rise as the calm before the storm settles in. The new daily routine is set, and it doesn't involve manual labor anymore. Who needs a day job when you can hunt monsters for cash? Tower clearing is the new 9 to 5. He gives John 5 points again. If he could give 10, he would. He's starting to wonder if these satisfaction ratings actually matter. Turns out, higher ratings mean more manifestation time and better rank. It's basically a gotcha game for his life. Time to head back in for round 2. The second floor mission. 10 quick-witted grubs in 2 hours. These ones are annoying, but the summoner isn't sweating it. He wonders if he should actually try to do some work this time. Nah, John's got it. Another 3-minute speedrun coming up. John promises to finish it fast and get them home for dinner. Chicken and beer are on the menu tonight. The summoner is actually excited for once. Let's do this. This is absolutely insane. Another level up and more magic stones in the bank. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. The system confirms an S++ clear for the second floor, and our hero is officially addicted to the grind. The system pings with a satisfying chime. An S++ rank is secured, and a shiny new platinum badge is officially in the bag. He stares at the notification in shock, wondering if he's become too OP for his own good. He's clearing floors faster than he can finish a shift at work. The third floor mission is locked and loaded. 10 greasy, icy grubs need to be dealt with and quick. Mission accomplished. He levels up and walks away with a nice 300G magic stone to pad his wallet. Another S++ rank is in the history books, and that precious platinum badge is added to his ever-growing collection. The fourth floor mission is already cleared. The grind literally never stops for this guy. Blink and you'll miss it. The fifth floor mission falls just as easily. 5 S++ rank platinum badges are sitting in his inventory now. He's basically speedrunning his way to a legendary status. A notification flashes. 5 badges trigger a special perk. The suspense is absolutely killing him, and honestly, us too. It's an awakening trait enhancement. He can now summon 2 entities at the exact same time. Double the trouble. Double the fun. Bong Juyeok's status window updates. Level 6, summoning trait active, and dual summon capacity unlocked. This is a total game changer. He realizes he can keep an extra person around. Even if John Cossack is doing all the heavy lifting, he's not about to start complaining. He's genuinely stunned. The S++ rewards are proving to be absolutely, ridiculously overpowered. He realizes this is his golden ticket to a long-term strategy, keeping him safe while he climbs the ladder of power. The random summon skill is on a 20-day cooldown, so he decides to play it cool and lay low until it's ready again. With his summons doing the dirty work, he's basically on a free ride to the top. Tomorrow, the 6th floor gets its turn. He arrives at the Awakener Management Administration, feeling like he's walking straight into a lion's den. The office is eerily quiet, filled with the heavy hum of anticipation and the weight of his massive secret. Time starts to blur as he waits. Is it morning? Or has he totally lost track of the night? Director Lee eyes him with intense suspicion, clearly fishing for any scrap of info about the recent tower chaos. He begs the director to stop trying to read his mind, but curiosity is a hard habit to break for these government types. The director drops the bombshell. Yet another S++ clear on the 6th floor has hit the global radar. The global announcements are ringing like a broken alarm, and every single one is pointing to the same insane performance. It's clearly the work of one individual, tearing through the first 5 floors with terrifying clinical precision. There's no denying it now. This is a player with unprecedented, world-shaking talent. If floors 7 through 10 keep going at this pace, the entire world is going to change forever. The room goes deathly silent as the gravity of the situation hits everyone like a freight train. Director Park reminds the room that Korea's previous best was only an A rank. They didn't even know S++ clears were a thing. The international stage is a shark tank, and they know secret abductions are happening just to snatch up rising talent. The order is given. Track down this mysterious player before some other country gets their hands on him. Every new registrant is now under a microscope. There's literally nowhere left to hide. 2 days pass in a blur of intense, nerve-wracking preparation. Clearing a floor a day is becoming his new normal. He's practically speed-running the apocalypse at this point. He reminds himself that the first 10 floors are just the beginner tutorial. The real nightmare hasn't even started. Tension hangs thick in the mist as the duo treads cautiously through the marsh. Every step is a high-stakes gamble. The 8th floor mission is set. Terminate 10 red thorn frog warriors. The battle-ready frog unleashes a lethal, glowing tongue strike. Nothing is escaping that venomous reach. A razor-sharp blade of pure energy hums with lethal intent. The atmosphere shatters as the strike charges up for a massive blow. The air crackles and pops with the aftermath of the collision. Mission complete. He levels up, snags some potions, and clocks another S++ clear. That platinum badge looks good on him. He praises his summon for the hard work, even though he's mostly just standing there watching the show. He warns his summon not to get cocky. The climb is only going to get way tougher from here. He grants his summon permission to take some downtime. Just don't go causing any trouble in the city. The summon refuses to leave his side, preferring to stay home and watch TV. Talk about ultimate loyalty. They decide to order some fried chicken to celebrate. Nothing beats a post-raid feast. He scans his inventory of rewards, wondering which chicken flavor will satisfy a cold-blooded assassin. A mysterious, glowing elixir materializes out of thin air. The power in this vial could change everything. He eyes his massive pile of magic stones. 1.8 million won is a lot of cash. But is it time to finally cash out? Day 10. He's closing in on the 10th floor, and the dream of quitting his dead-end job is finally becoming a reality. The 9th floor boss was a total pushover, at least for his overpowered summon. He admits that while the mission is a breeze for his partner, he's just here for the ride and the sweet, sweet loot. He toasts to his summon's success, conveniently forgetting the guy is a ruthless killer. John Cossack's satisfaction hits 5 points, extending his manifestation time. The bribe of good food is really paying off. Cossack promises to handle everything. With that kind of attitude, why would he ever lift a finger himself? They step into the 10th floor portal, and the system begins recalibrating his physical limits. The 10th floor feels different, the air is thicker, and the stakes feel significantly higher. Mana surges through his body, and he can feel his strength overflowing. He's evolving. He wonders if he's finally turning into an uncontainable powerhouse. He decides it's time to stop hiding. He's jumping into the fray to actually help this time. Cossack is horrified at the idea of his summoner getting even a scratch, but Bong is determined to prove his worth. No more sitting on the sidelines. It's time to fight as a real team. A colossal, pulsating eye locks onto its prey. Cold sweat drips as he realizes he's being hunted by a nightmare. He stares at the 10th floor monster, wondering if he's bitten off way more than he can chew. How on earth have other players survived this terrifying monstrosity? He complains that his pride is hurt by being protected, even though he's clearly totally out of his depth. A monstrous mantis emerges from the shadows with bloodshot eyes. The nightmare has arrived, and there's nowhere to hide. He yells for Cossack to engage, putting his life entirely in the assassin's hands. A giant, blade-wielding mantis looms over them, ready to cleave the world in two. There is no running from this predator. The battle reaches a fever pitch as steel meets chitin in a shower of sparks. The momentum of the fight shifts in a split second. A lethal web of energy traps the prey as the mantis strikes. Death is just a millisecond away. Victory. 10th floor cleared, another level up, and yet another S++ rank in the bag. The mission is officially closed, and the rewards are piling up faster than he can even count. The path to the 11th floor is open, but for now it's time to head home and sleep. His magic stone collection is reaching truly legendary proportions. With 10 platinum badges fast approaching, he can't wait to see what the system drops next. The countdown to the next big perk is officially on. He wonders if the next ability will be something truly game-breaking. The system offers a skill-copying perk. He can now mirror the techniques of his own summons. He immediately sets his sights on Shadow Step, hoping to gain some much-needed mobility. Cossack isn't thrilled about the choice, but Bong insists it's for his own protection. He plays the victim card, acting like he's just a fragile survivor in a world of monsters. Shadow Step is officially learned and registered to his status window. He tries to justify the skill as essential combat training, even if he's really just planning a quick exit strategy. He practices the footwork, feeling like a nimble master of the shadows. He realizes his summoning logic is as inconsistent as his combat style, but honestly, who cares at this point? The phone rings, and he's clearly flustered. His cheeks flush bright red as he steels himself to answer. He stammers through the call, finally admitting he's an awakened player. The government rep is thrilled and asks for his address. The secret is finally out. He hangs up, feeling like he just made the biggest, scariest decision of his young life. Click-clack. The rhythmic echo of heels cuts through the eerie silence of the lot. A mysterious arrival is about to change everything. The director is frustrated. They've checked every lead and still haven't found the elusive S++ record holder. Another potential lead comes in, and they prepare to investigate with tired eyes and endless determination. They're ready to offer the moon and stars if they find the person behind the global records. They march toward the target location with professional intensity. They knock on the door, and Bong nearly has a heart attack on the other side. The team leader introduces himself, trying to keep it professional while sizing up the room. Bong is terrified to find a woman among the officials. He's just not ready for this kind of social interaction. They get a little too close for comfort, and Bong begins to panic internally. The S++ status looms over him like a neon sign in his brain. It's everywhere, even if the officials don't know it's him yet. He's sweating buckets, hoping they can't see the absolute truth written on his face. He wonders if they have some kind of superpower to detect his lies. He decides to play the clueless citizen card to the very end. He laughs it off, hoping his terrible acting skills hold up under the pressure. The team leader notices the nervous twitch. It's a textbook lie, and they know it. The deputy director warns the chief to back off before they scare the guy away. He apologizes for the intrusion, and Bong tries to look as innocent as possible. Tabi, the mascot of the Korea Black Tower, appears to explain the world's chaos. The towers are pitch black and ominous, looming over the planet like silent sentinels. 20 years ago, these colossal structures appeared overnight, dwarfing the tallest skyscrapers on Earth. Nations mobilized their best and brightest, but the towers remained completely impenetrable. An invisible barrier kept everyone out, leaving humanity feeling helpless. Then the towers opened, revealing a game-like structure waiting to be climbed. Inside, ordinary people become warriors, wielding skills and gear they could only dream of before. A chilling notice appears. If the top floors aren't cleared, the tower collapses. The memory of Mumbai serves as a grim reminder of what happens when a tower falls. Korea is one of the lucky ones with only a single tower, hidden deep in the mountains. Players are rare, making up only a tiny fraction of the population. Korea is actually doing quite well, sitting at the second highest record in the world. Humanity is treating the tower like a new frontier, exploring its depths just like old-world pioneers. The official recruitment pitch is in full swing, promising glory to anyone willing to register. Bong listens to the lecture, wondering if this is really the life he wants to sign up for. They press him for details, and he casually mentions the 10th floor. The officials freeze. The 10th floor is exactly where the S++ record started. The gears are turning in their heads. Could this nervous kid actually be the one? They test the waters by mentioning the global notice. Bong plays dumb, acting like he's just as surprised by the records as they are. They're suspicious, but he's doing a good job of looking like a terrified amateur. They move on to the contract, laying out the two paths for players. It's the elite team versus the general team, the difference between being a soldier and a freelancer. The elite team gets all the government support, while the general team is left to their own devices. The elite team comes with strings attached, but the protection is tempting. A salary is offered, but Bong is worried that taking it will blow his cover. They ask if the rumors about him being a loner are true, and he's ready to crawl into a hole and die of embarrassment. He'd rather face 1,000 monsters than deal with this kind of public scrutiny. They mention the body cam requirement for the elite team, which is an instant no for him. He turns down the elite offer, leaving the officials completely stunned. He insists that he's just a simple player, not looking for fame or glory. He claims he's perfectly happy with small, safe gains. They try to persuade him, but his mind is made up. He's staying in the shadows. Another lead hits a dead end for the administration. They think he's a coward, not realizing he's just the most successful coward on the planet. They decide he's not worth the effort, completely misjudging the situation. They respect his decision, leaving him to his secret life. They ask him to enter the tower one last time to confirm his status. He knows they're still watching, hoping for a slip-up. He agrees to a 2-hour session, knowing it's just a show for his guests. They tell him to take his time, unaware they're waiting on the most dangerous player in Korea. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. He turns to his summon, casually suggesting they relax with some TV and a cold drink from the fridge while he's busy. With a resounding clash of steel, the summon leaps into the heart of the action. The observers watch in total shock, debating whether he's truly awakened or if this is just a lucky streak. They're placing bets that he'll fold by the 11th floor, but their confidence is starting to look a little shaky. A self-proclaimed expert boasts about clearing the 11th floor, warning everyone about the nightmare that is the long-tailed tunnel centipedes. He claims the sheer hideousness of those monsters is enough to shatter any player's resolve. The analysts are betting the house on his retreat, citing their perfect track record of being wrong about everything. A critical decision is made. It's time to bring in the big guns and call the director. John Cossack, the heavy hitter, is officially summoned into the tower. The gun-toting warrior steps onto the scene with a surprisingly polite, "Thank you for summoning me." The mission alert blares. 100 long-tailed tunnel centipedes. 3 hours. Let's go. It's do or die. Either he clears the floor or faces total failure and a very permanent end. Staring at the swarm of centipedes in pure disgust, he brags that he'll have them wiped out in 5 minutes flat. Suddenly, he gets the order. Hunt slowly. No S++ records allowed today. Realizing the Bureau is watching, he plans to dump his summon mid-tower just to keep his record nice and messy. He is absolutely terrified of being labeled an S++ record holder. He just wants to be a background character. With one clean, lethal swipe, he slices a massive centipede in half, spraying green guts everywhere with blinding speed. He acknowledges the command with a nod. "Mr. Cossack, slower." "Got it." The hunt slows to a crawl as the summon intentionally throttles his true power. Everything seems to be running like clockwork, until the plan goes completely off the rails. He tries to trigger an escape skill, but his body is frozen solid. The intensity is off the charts, and the action is practically flying off the screen. His loyal summon, John, decides he's done waiting and prepares to handle the threat himself. He screams in rage at the disgusting centipedes for daring to threaten his summoner. A brutal strike tears through the swarm, leaving the monsters in absolute, shattered pieces. He yells for his summon to hold back, but the damage is already done. The order is desperate. Slow down. You're moving way too fast. The summon isn't hearing it. He's decided that protecting Bong's life is more important than some silly speed record. He shouts in protest, but his summon is a one-man wrecking crew that cannot be stopped. He tries to force the situation, but the system is working against his desire to be mediocre. A notification blares. 11th floor clear grade S++ achieved. Well, he failed at failing. The summon offers a sheepish apology, but the 12th floor is already unlocked. They are unceremoniously dumped out of the Korea Black Tower. The observers wait with bated breath, expecting him to stumble out in total defeat. A thick, heavy silence hangs over the entire room. The notification pops up again, confirming the impossible. Another S++ grade. Raw power crackles in the air as he unleashes a terrifying surge of energy, leaving the observers paralyzed in fear. Total chaos breaks out. How did he get an S++ the second he stepped out? The timing is way too perfect. Everyone is losing their minds trying to figure it out. He lets out a long sigh, realizing he's been pushed way too far today. He slowly turns his cold gaze toward the two witnesses nearby. He concludes they know way too much and decides they need to be silenced permanently. He states his intent with icy calm. Those witnesses aren't leaving the room alive. Mr. Cossack is back on the clock to finish the job. He commands his summon to bind them instantly. With a blinding flash, the enemies are sliced to pieces, their silhouettes shattering into nothingness. A sickening thud echoes through the room as the job is finished. He screams at his summon, "Who told you to cut their heads off? This guy really needs to learn how to communicate his plans better." The witnesses are groveling on the floor, begging for their lives. They offer tearful, desperate apologies for their insolence. He pauses, looking genuinely confused by the sudden shift in the room's energy. The witnesses ask if he's all right, pointing out the beads of cold sweat on his forehead. He plays it off coolly while the Bureau continues to beg him to join their elite squad. The Bureau tries to play the coincidence off, even though they look like they're struggling to believe it themselves. The conversation gets hilariously awkward as they dance around the truth. Finally, the Bureau gives up the games and drops a massive contract on the table. He's handed an elite contract, the exact nightmare he's been trying to avoid. They insist this isn't just any paper. It's a one-of-a-kind, gold-plated deal. The special grade management label is slapped onto his file. The perks are insane. 12 billion won, fancy real estate and VVIP security. He's basically above the law now, and the crowd is reeling from the sheer scale of the offer. This kind of power is usually reserved for the country's #1 ranker. The entire nation is throwing everything they have at him to get a signature. He plants his feet, refusing to be a professional player if it means signing that contract. The Bureau is totally baffled by his refusal, while he just wants to go home and hide. He tries to brush them off, acting like he's just a normal guy shopping for a new outfit. He awkwardly excuses himself, vowing to never step foot in this building again. He walks away, feeling the heavy, suffocating weight of the spotlight on his back. The Bureau sighs, deciding he's just a world-class introvert. He contemplates his future, wondering if he's ready to face the tower's chaos. They settle for a general contract, much to his immense relief. The onlookers are frustrated, wishing he'd just take the fame and the cash. They have no clue that an elite contract comes with chains he isn't ready to wear. He's perfectly happy making a decent living, no more, no less. The title glows with crackling blue energy, signaling the start of an epic journey. The Bureau is officially in full-blown damage control mode at their Seoul HQ. The team leader is getting grilled about why their timid profile on Wero was so wrong. They're losing their minds trying to reconcile his personality with his S++ rank. They settle on the idea that it's just a bizarre, unique quirk. They wonder if they got the wrong person, but the timing is just too perfect. The director slams the table. Drag him into the elite team at any cost. The order is absolute. He must join the team. He shuts them down again, faking a dramatic fit of rage to make them back off. He gets called out for his terrible acting, forcing a hasty, awkward apology. The 12th floor mission kicks off. Defeat 20 ice snow icicle spear weasels in 3 hours. He reminds his summon to be gentle and slow, loyalty above all else. He thinks he can finally trust the summon to keep things normal this time around. The icy wind bites as they cross into the frozen zone. He worries about his summon's health as the temperature plummets. He insists he's fine, determined to finish quickly and get to some heat. He barks the command, "No, stay slow." His summon is panicking. Acting like a little cold air is the deadliest plague in existence. A new perk drops, the Energy Shield Kit. He eyes the new item with genuine curiosity. The stats are beastly. It absorbs damage and recharges every 5 hours. It's basically a full suit of power armor in his pocket. He realizes something huge. It doesn't have a tower-exclusive tag. He realizes he can use it in the real world. His survival rate just went through the roof. He starts mentally calculating his retirement, wondering if he should just quit while he's ahead. Greed kicks in as he realizes there might be even crazier rewards higher up. He asks for a speedrun, but his summon is now playing it way too safe. Something is definitely on his mind. He's still debating if he should just sell his loot and call it a day. The global announcements have been silent for 15 days. The Bureau assumes he's stuck somewhere on the 15th floor. They lament the cruelty of wasting such talent on someone so shy. They refuse to give up hope, convinced he's still in the game. Suddenly, word comes in. He's heading to the Bureau's shop. Everyone is buzzing. Is he finally going to spend his fortune? They realize he was just farming funds this whole time. The chief feels like an absolute fool for doubting him. He orders the staff to give Bong anything he wants at a massive discount. He walks in, and someone says something that triggers an immediate weird reaction. He asks them to stab him with a dagger. Wait, what was that? He's just testing his shield. But the guy looks like he's about to faint from the request. The guy is desperately trying to ignore the absolute insanity happening right in front of him. Since no one else will do it, he decides to poke himself. He accidentally stabs himself without turning the shield on. Oops! He yells at the summon never to do that again. The summon is just trying his best, okay? Give the guy a break. The hunts are wrapping up in record time now. He decides to use the downtime to practice his secret skills. He activates Shadow Step. The world freezes as his eyes ignite with a terrifying, hidden power. Something massive has just awakened. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. He's finally getting a real feel for the power. He understands why his summon insisted on this skill. It's perfect for running away. He senses something moving nearby. A cold sweat breaks out as the goblin realizes it's being hunted, terror flashing in its glowing red eyes. A lone goblin appears out of nowhere. It must have been hiding from the summoner's shadow the whole time. The mutated goblin lunges with a blood-curdling roar, pure fury radiating from its eyes. He panics and slams his shield skill active. He's genuinely unsettled by how close that monster got to him. With a blinding flash of energy, he obliterates the monsters in a single, surgical strike, leaving them no room to breathe. He cracks a joke about his nice pass skills. His summon rushes over, looking genuinely worried. He checks him for injuries, acting like an overly protective parent. He tries to act like nothing happened, but his summon isn't buying it for a second. He promises to be careful, even though his ears are still ringing from the impact. After 15 days of farming, he's got 22.5 kilograms of magic stones. That's one massive payday. He calls the Bureau, eager to visit the shop and unload this haul. They offer to send an escort, but he insists on going alone. A luxury limousine screeches to a halt, signaling a grand arrival as the engine cuts, leaving everyone in silence. The team leader greets him with a plastic, professional smile. A mysterious figure steps into the spotlight with a sinister, wide-eyed grin, ready to make his move. He's escorted inside, still feeling like the VIP treatment is way too much for him. The screen flickers as he slams his hand against the scanner. Access granted, the Real journey begins now. He rejects the guided tour, preferring to browse the shop in total peace. He steps into the store, ready to see what his fortune can finally buy him. The hero steps into the player-exclusive shop, his jaw dropping at the sheer opulence of the facility. But wait, why is this place a total ghost town? Is it just a sad, lonely shop? Or is everyone else flat broke? Perhaps the prices are just that astronomical. Regardless, he's ready to dump those magic stones for a mountain of cash. The system flashes a payout of over 11 million won, and the clerk is so eager to please, they practically trip over themselves to finalize the transaction. Time to grab the gear and bolt. Shopping is far too stressful for a hero on a tight schedule. High above, the brass watches the feed, confirming the shop has been cleared of all other players just for him. Talk about some serious VIP treatment. They've even slapped on a 90% discount, terrified he's too shy to accept freebies. They're working overtime just to keep our protagonist smiling. The sun dips below the horizon, bathing the city in a moody, twilight glow as secrets begin to stir in the shadows. He sets his sights on an adamant mace priced at 2 million won, an absolute steal by any metric. He knows the sticker price should be 10 times higher. Clearly, the team leader's personal intervention was no accident. He feels the weight of the special treatment. But hey, those fancy new walkers are looking pretty stylish. He admires his new gear, realizing his energy shield armor basically turns him into a one-man defensive fortress. All this godly power is thanks to his incredible perk. He promised to stay humble, but this perk is testing his resolve. It's like a little devil whispering temptations into his ear. John Cossack returns to the fray, offering a crisp salute to his summoner and preparing to dive into the 16th floor. The summon cooldown finally resets, and the itch to pull a new character is becoming impossible to ignore. He watches the meter climb, his heart hammering against his ribs in pure anticipation. It's time to roll the dice and see who the gacha gods have decided to bless him with today. He invokes every deity, saint, and magical incantation in the book, praying for a legendary summon. A blinding surge of raw energy erupts before them, tearing through the fabric of reality itself. The room trembles as an enigmatic, glowing force manifests right in their path. He stares in stunned silence, wondering if he just managed to break the game entirely. A devastating shockwave shatters the air. Absolute power erupts, leaving nothing but total destruction in its wake. He stammers, completely caught off guard by the sheer magnitude of this arrival. It's as if reality itself has been dragged into the room. He can't believe his own eyes. Pure, crackling energy surges as a massive fist clenches, preparing to shatter everything in its path. The power is reaching a violent breaking point. A surge of raw, crackling energy erupts as he slams his foot down with earth-shattering force. The ground crumbles beneath the weight of his overwhelming presence. The floor cracks as a monstrous behemoth unleashes an insane surge of raw power. Our protagonist stands frozen, dwarfed by the terrifying intensity of this awakening. He can't help but wonder, is he looking at a man or some kind of mindless beast? He shouts at the newcomer to cool his jets before he accidentally demolishes the entire building. A thunderous kick connects with bone-shattering force. The beast doesn't even flinch against this display of overwhelming power. They're already at each other's throats. It's like watching two wild animals fighting over a scrap of meat. The behemoth just shrugs off the attack as if it were nothing more than a gentle summer breeze. Tensions flare, and threats of violence start flying fast and loose. He screams for them to knock it off before the entire tower comes crashing down on their heads. Someone is going to have to pay for that ceiling repair, and it definitely won't be the hero. He drags the new guy aside, realizing he's stuck with a total idiot who doesn't understand the basic laws of being a summon. The guy tries to recite the rules, but it's a total, unmitigated train wreck of confusion. He realizes he's pulled a total dud and briefly considers deleting the summon right then and there. The system identifies the new guy as a rank R savage warrior. Not exactly the jackpot he was hoping for. Rank R is the absolute bottom of the barrel. He's seriously considering waiting a month to try his luck again. The guy can't even remember his own name or why he's here. Talk about a useless piece of meat. He decides to take a peek at the guy's history, hoping to find at least one redeeming quality. Suddenly, he's pulled into a vivid, haunting memory, just like he was with Cossack. Where has his consciousness drifted to this time? He witnesses a vision of pure innocence. A savage warrior who found absolute joy in the simple beauty of nature. But that peaceful life was destined to be shattered by the brutal shadows of war. The warrior was a physical specimen of legend, always looking for a good fight and a good time. Sadly, his simple mind was his greatest vulnerability. He remembers meeting a stranger, Arius, and failing to even recall his own identity. To the point of forgetting his own name, this poor soul was truly a blank slate. He was tricked by a fake hero and thrown onto the front lines as nothing more than a disposable human shield. Without hesitation, he fought the Hydra, tearing off heads while his own flesh was seared away by toxic acid. He stayed in the fight, driven only by a desperate, selfless need to protect his so-called comrades. In the end, he was left to rot, his sacrifice ignored and mocked by the very people he died for. The comrades laughed as he faded away, completely oblivious to the man who just saved their lives. The victim dissolves into nothingness under the searing touch of lethal acid. There is no escape from this gruesome, bubbling fate. The truth hits him like a freight train. This wasn't a monster, but a betrayed hero. He realizes how cruel the world is. Being stupid shouldn't be a death sentence. He decides to offer a hand instead of a blade. He isn't leaving this guy behind. The warrior is as clueless as ever, but he's finally listening. They settle on a name, Gobang. Simple, and it sticks. He promises to make Gobang happy, and the warrior trusts him without a second thought. They're a team now. A nervous summoner, a cold assassin, and a gentle giant. What could possibly go wrong? The system crunches the numbers, and the calculation is locked in. It's time to whip them into shape and hit the 16th floor with everything they've got. A timid player, a psycho assassin, and a dim-witted brute walk into a dungeon. Sounds like the start of a really bad joke. On paper, this party is a total disaster, but luck just might be on their side. They step onto the 16th floor, stats boosted and ready for the slaughter. With combat skills active, there is no turning back now. The mission is simple. Purge 30 goblin scouts, and do it fast. He warns the team to keep their guard up. Those goblins are much trickier than they look. Poison needles are the main threat. One wrong step and they're finished. A mysterious, glowing projectile suddenly locks onto its target. Tension spikes as the unsuspecting youth finds himself in the crosshairs of an unseen threat. The goblin unleashes a devastating energy blast from its staff. Destruction erupts as the beam tears through the air. A blinding strike tears through the fabric of reality. The sheer force of the impact leaves nothing in its wake. With a display of raw power, he catches the lethal strike midair. Total shock paralyzes his opponent as the tide turns in an instant. It's a full-blown ambush. He orders a dodge, but Gobang steps up to tank the hits instead. They are completely surrounded by a massive, screeching horde. He screams for Gobang to hold the line. The beast awakens with eyes burning like molten fury. Pure, unadulterated carnage is about to be unleashed. The ground shatters as a colossal force slams down with earth-shattering power. Nowhere is safe from this overwhelming impact. The goblins are starting to realize they picked the wrong group to mess with. The chaos is absolute. The tide of battle turns in a heartbeat. He's having the time of his life watching the carnage unfold. With Gobang around, this isn't a fight. It's a demolition project. The panicked goblin blows a frantic tune, summoning a storm of chaos. He's sweating bullets as he unleashes his desperate signal. Gobang doesn't even blink. The attacks just tickle his hide. He gives the order, and the slaughter continues without mercy. He's shocked. Gobang is performing like an SSR tier unit. Not an R. The warrior is just happy to be here, and maybe a little hungry. He praises Go Bang for the insane performance, and offers him a feast. It's spicy fried chicken, not a kitchen, you lovable oaf. Go Bang thinks his summoner is the greatest person on earth. He knows he'll be relying on this brute more than anyone else. He's got to teach this guy the difference between a meal and a room. He jumps back, startled by how fast that chicken disappeared. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. A new day brings a new challenge as they step onto the 17th floor. Stats are buffed, skills are primed, and the air is thick with anticipation. He can feel the power coursing through his veins. He's hitting his stride. The wild stallion within is waking up, and he's ready to join the fray. Cossack offers to take point, ever the professional in keeping his summoner safe. The mission is set. Take down 30 goblin warriors. Seeing it in person is a whole different beast compared to the guides. The pressure is crushing. These goblins aren't just fodder, they're tactical geniuses. The standard strategy is to retreat and pick them off one by one. It's a slow, grueling process that usually takes hours of patience. But with Go Bang in his corner, who needs patience? He's throwing the rulebook out the window. He signals the charge. With his squad, the 20th floor is practically in the bag. He shouts the command to wipe them off the face of the map. He's already dreaming about what kind of broken perk he'll get next. The mission countdown is ticking. Let the games begin. A relentless tide of armored goblins surges forward, their eyes burning with pure malice. There is no escape as the overwhelming horde marches to war. Go Bang is ready to do his master's bidding. The order is given, and the slaughter is absolute. With a chilling grin and a steady gaze, he points his finger, marking his next target for certain destruction. The beast erupts with raw, cataclysmic power as a blinding shockwave tears through the battlefield. Witness the sheer ferocity of his soul-shaking roar. Even the toughest warriors flinch at the sight of such raw strength. The goblins are being tossed around like ragdolls. A menacing horde of goblin soldiers charges forward with lethal intent. Their spears are leveled, and the slaughter is about to begin. The massive warrior unleashes a blinding flurry of strikes, effortlessly swatting away a barrage of incoming projectiles. Speed meets raw power in this lethal display of combat mastery. The goblins scream as their ranks are obliterated. With one earth-shattering strike, the entire goblin squad is sent flying. Their resistance is shattered in an instant of pure, overwhelming power. He can't believe his eyes. This performance is absolutely nuts. Tactical genius is fine, but it doesn't matter when your opponent is a literal tank. An S++ rating is in the bag. That shiny platinum badge is looking real nice. He's laughing all the way to the bank. This is too easy. Even his summons are looking at him like he's lost his mind. The 18th floor mission is live. 30 goblin assassins on the menu. Assassins are a pain, but he's feeling confident. He calls the shots and moves his team forward. Stealth is their specialty, but he's not worried. Silence falls over the forest. He keeps his eyes peeled for any movement. This might be the first real challenge of the day. A sudden, terrifying pressure crashes down from the heavens. The very atmosphere shatters as an unseen force descends upon the forest. He mocks the goblins, promising to show them what a real strategy looks like. His shadow step is unmatched, and he's ready to prove it. The counter is ticking up. The hunt is officially on. He checks in with Cossack, keeping the pressure high. He's baiting them into a trap, and they're falling for it hook, line, and sinker. He's fueling the rivalry between his summons just to get them to work harder. What a manipulative genius. He's farming badges like it's a day job. Those perks aren't going to stack themselves. He's leveling up, feeling the power shift inside him. He's been holding back, but it's time to show the tower what he's really made of. It's time to let the wild horse run free. Let's go. He recalls every detail of the 18th floor strategy guide, having memorized it to perfection before even stepping through the gate. Behold the radiant glow of pure, unadulterated confidence. This majestic beast strikes a pose that could stop time itself. He dismisses the goblin assassins as low-tier garbage, confident he can track their every movement with laser focus. Fear? What fear? He spent the entire 15th floor grinding Shadow Step until he could do it in his sleep. A sudden, lethal strike narrowly misses him as a mysterious spectral assailant strikes from the shadows. Panic erupts in an instant. A swift kick lands, and he stumbles, desperately trying to regain his footing as his balance falters. The action is so intense even the narrator is taking a quick reading break. Don't worry, we're right back to the chaos. The system registers his progress. 10 goblins down, 20 to go. He executes his plan with surgical precision, finally notching a hard-won victory after 18 grueling floors. A lethal, glowing blade descends in a blur of pure malice. Our hero barely manages to block the strike, but the crushing pressure is just beginning. The kill count climbs steadily as the system updates his progress. 25 down. Only 3 more targets remain. He is closing in on the final goal. A colossal fist descends from the heavens, leaving him scrambling to evade certain doom. The pressure is crushing, and there's no room for error. Another quick update for the readers, because even in the middle of a death trap, you need to know where the story is headed. A flurry of lethal strikes tears through the goblins, leaving them helpless in mid-air as they're obliterated in a brutal display of power. He snaps at his summon, Go Bang, forgetting in the way of his killing spree. In the heat of the moment, he suddenly wonders where Summoner Bong has wandered off to. A mysterious number flashes on the screen. The tension is mounting. He gasps in shock as a sudden, unexpected threat emerges. He breathes a sigh of relief, realizing that if it weren't for his energy shield, he'd be toast, ambushed from above and below. He is caught in a lethal pincer attack. One wrong move means certain death against these bloodthirsty goblins. Is it the adrenaline surging through his veins? The goblin's blade slows to a crawl in his eyes. Time itself seems to dilate as he perceives every frame of the incoming attack. A devastating crimson slash tears through the battlefield, catching his enemies completely off guard. With one strike, he obliterates the opposition. The system announces an S++ clear rating for the 18th floor, rewarding him with a prestigious platinum badge. He calls out for Bong, his summoner, in the heat of the aftermath. He grins, realizing he secured the final blow just in time. The system interface flickers to life, leaving him stunned by a game-changing notification. Reality just shifted. Is this the start of his legendary rise? The victory is sweet, and the rewards are rolling in. A server-wide announcement echoes through the tower. He has conquered the 18th floor with an S++ rank. The crowd goes wild. It's clear he didn't just stumble into this. He prepared for every single scenario. His allies are bursting with pride, dying to scream his name from the rooftops as the new record holder. A warning is issued. Keeping his identity secret is vital for his safety, even if they want to brag about his talent. Bong Joo-hyuk is officially a high-tier asset, requiring more care and management than any elite team. Breaking news flashes across the screens. A 20-day hiatus followed by 18 consecutive S++ clears. History is being rewritten as his unprecedented streak shatters every existing record in tower climbing. The entire nation is holding its breath, obsessed with uncovering the identity of this mysterious S++ ranker. He lets out a frustrated huff, feeling the weight of the spotlight. He is told to stop sighing, but the sheer speed of his growth is enough to make anyone nervous. His progress is terrifying. He is awakening to his talent at an impossible rate. He points at himself in confusion. Talent? Surely they don't mean him? He laughs it off, thinking they're just pulling his leg. The truth hits him. This isn't a joke. His shadow-walking technique was so perfect that even experts would struggle to replicate it, making him a major target. His companion stares at him, dead serious. This is no time for games. They remind him that as his power grows, so does the danger. Safety and self-preservation must remain the top priority. He nods eagerly, promising not to do anything reckless while eyeing his next easy target. The mission is accepted. A dark, ominous feeling settles in the air. Is he really going to play it safe? Everyone watching knows our summoner is just one bad day away from causing total chaos. The assassin is actually crying. What a total amateur. He bellows a threat, ready to boil his opponent alive. He launches a brutal aerial strike, sending his massive opponent flying. One swift blow is all it takes to shatter the calm. His frantic cry reveals the true tragedy. His fridge is ruined. He orders them to stop trashing the house and get back to their business. The real horror of the battle. His mother's precious kimchi is spilled everywhere. May it rest in peace. Needing to clear his head, he decides it's time for a family visit. The next morning arrives with a sense of calm. He arrives at his family home, ready for a break. His mother greets him, happy to see her son home. They nag him about not visiting enough, but the warmth in their voices is unmistakable. His father complains about his hip, but refuses to just lie down and take it easy. The table is set with stew, and the search for the missing tofu begins. The bubbling, spicy stew hits the table with an irresistible aroma. It's time for a culinary showdown that'll leave everyone craving a taste. His parents try to hide their financial struggles, telling him to focus on his own life instead of worrying about them. He considers testing the waters, wondering if he should reveal his secret. He blurts it out only to realize he might have been a bit too obvious. His father laughs off the idea of him entering the tower, calling it the funniest joke of the year. He tries to explain he's quit his job, creating an awkward silence. His father stares him down, suspecting he's hiding something behind that lying face. The tension hangs in the air for a brief moment. His father gives him one piece of serious advice. Stay away from loan sharks no matter what. A dark memory surfaces, but he quickly brushes it aside. That's a nightmare he'd rather forget. He pivots the conversation, asking about his mother's job. She vents about a nightmare customer who demanded the impossible, leading her to finally snap. His father chuckles, claiming his greatest achievement was winning her heart all those years ago. The kids are watching their parents, noting the classic beta male energy. They observe that while the paternal genes are weak, the bond is undeniably strong. He decides to keep his awakening a secret for now. It's just not the right time. The sun beats down on the desolate apartment complex, hiding secrets behind every window. Silence reigns, but danger is lurking just around the corner. He leaves behind a bundle of cash, secretly providing for his parents while they aren't looking. His brother calls out, confused by the sudden generosity. He assumes his brother is just reflecting on the past tuition help. He smiles, knowing his brother is too embarrassed to say a proper thank you. A lingering thought crosses his mind, feeling like something is left unsaid. He warns his brother not to waste the money on nonsense. He arrives at the Awakener Management Administration, his resolve stronger than ever. He was going to head home, but his visit with his family has ignited a new fire in his belly. He asks for a heads-up before visiting the shop, hoping for a smooth transaction. He reminds himself that he has the energy shield to fall back on. But as the monsters grow stronger, he knows his current gear won't cut it. He gulps when he sees the price tag. 100 million won for a real shield. 100 million. That price is enough to make anyone reconsider their life choices. He finds the price tag steep and the shop surprisingly crowded, making him feel a bit out of his element. The clerk offers him a sleek, lightweight round buckler made of adamant and sectonium, complete with self-repair. It matches his mace perfectly. It's like they were destined to be a set. The payment is finalized, and the item is his. He wonders why talking to a clerk is so much more nerve-wracking than fighting goblins. With his new gear in hand, he finally heads home. A stranger approaches, asking if he's new to the awakening life. The man introduces himself as Choi Hoseok, a fellow player. He introduces himself, but his heart sinks when the other player realizes he's still a low-level rookie. The stranger is overly friendly, offering to help with any future trouble. He politely declines, having had no trouble so far, but the guy just won't stop offering. He walks away, marveling at the stranger's fearless social skills. He wonders if a guy like that must have a girlfriend. Some people just have it all. Under the cover of a moonlit night, the city falls into a haunting, restless silence. Danger lurks in the shadows of these urban heights. The status screen updates. Bong Joo-hyuk, level 19, with 2 summons and a growing list of deadly skills. He's ready to conquer the 19th floor. It's time to summon Cossack and set some ground rules. The summoning ritual begins, and John Cossack materializes. Cossack grumbles about the star rating but is ready for action. He shows off his new shield, hoping to convince his summon he's playing it safe. Even if he's lying through his teeth, Cossack makes him promise. No more reckless charging. If things get hairy, he's instructed to sacrifice the others and run for his life. As they prepare to dive into the next floor, a strange smell catches his attention. He reveals a peace offering. King-size dumplings for his loyal summon. Cossack is touched. He's finally being treated better than that oaf go bang. He settles in to enjoy the feast. He asks if Cossack holds any grudges, but the summon denies it. Mostly. A sudden wave of killing intent fills the room. He freezes. Is someone stalking him? He shouts for them to hide, immediately activating his energy shield for protection. A mysterious object hits the floor with a lethal clang, sending shivers down his spine. He freezes in place, caught in the grip of a sudden, terrifying realization. He calls out into the darkness, his voice trembling. A chilling realization hits him like a freight train. Terror freezes him in his tracks as the truth comes to light. The guy from the shop emerges, sneering at him. The stalker has finally revealed himself. His blood runs cold at the sight of a real gun pointed directly at him. He screams in disbelief, wondering how things went so wrong so fast. The attacker threatens him with casual cruelty, aiming to turn him into Swiss cheese. The assailant gloats, thinking he's found the perfect, easy prey. He demands the loot, ready to kill to get his hands on the inventory. A brutal, precision strike lands squarely on his head. The impact is absolutely devastating. The attacker collapses, shocked that he was blindsided by a second enemy. He stares in confusion at the fallen foe. He freezes in shock as the reality of the situation hits him like a lightning bolt. His eyes widen in pure, unadulterated disbelief. He praises Mr. Cossack for landing a non-lethal blow, a rare moment of restraint. He's relieved his summon didn't just go on a mindless rampage. Maybe they're starting to communicate. He realizes the attacker is an item broker, a lowlife who steals from other players. These brokers are the scum of the earth, preying on those who are vulnerable outside the tower. He finally understands why the elite teams have constant protection. If he hadn't unlocked his out-of-tower summoning, he'd be a dead man walking right now. The realization hits him. His ability is way more broken than he ever imagined. He debates how to handle the trash. Dump him somewhere or call the cops. The police seem like the safer, more bureaucratic route. News of his shopping habits is already reaching the higher-ups. The report confirms he bought a buckler, sparking further speculation about his combat style. They worry that even with full armor, a melee fighter is always at risk of being crushed. A mysterious, glowing artifact pulls from his pocket with a sharp hum. The tension spikes as the hidden power finally reveals itself. The countdown begins. What will he find inside? A sudden outburst of shock echoes through the room. What on earth could he have possibly said to cause such a reaction? Tires screech against the pavement as a car swerves into the frame. A sudden, high-stakes encounter is about to unfold. He curses under his breath, his frustration reaching a boiling point. He kicks himself for his past mistakes, lamenting that he should have locked down that elite contract from the very beginning. Panic sets in as he realizes the potential danger player Bong might be in. An officer storms in, placing Mr. Choi Hoseok under immediate arrest for home invasion and robbery, while the victim stammers in pain and total confusion. The situation turns into a chaotic shouting match as the accused desperately claims he's the real victim, But the officers aren't buying his act for a second. Fear washes over him as he realizes he might actually be headed to jail. Looks like he's about to get a crash course in prison survival. A stern voice commands everyone to stop right there. Choi Ho-seok's face lights up with desperate hope as he recognizes team leader John Gwang-il from the administration. He cries out in relief, convinced that his salvation has finally arrived. He points an accusatory finger at his captor, screaming that the bastard tried to kidnap him and steal his gear. A sharp, stinging blow lands across his cheek, cutting his pathetic monologue short. The team leader explodes with rage, disgusted by the blatant lies spewing from the man's mouth. The team leader threatens to revoke his player registration immediately for attacking a fellow player, while the culprit squeals in pain, trying to play the victim one last time. He gasps for air, begging for the violence to end, but nobody is listening. He stares in disbelief, realizing that no matter what he says, he's not going to talk his way out of this one. The order is given to drag him away. The NIS is on the way, and they aren't exactly known for their hospitality. The mere mention of the NIS makes his blood run cold. Everyone knows they don't hold back when it comes to player crimes. He falls to his knees, begging for mercy, but the investigators just scoff at his predictable, "I'm the victim" routine. They tell him to find a lawyer, though they doubt anyone would be foolish enough to represent a repeat offender like him. The officers are reminded of the strict protocol for transport. If he tries to escape into the tower, he'll just end up right back where he started. He blubbers through his final pleas, promising to be a good boy from now on. A concerned comrade asks if he's hurt, but he brushes it off, trying to hide just how rattled he really is. Player Bong stands in the center of the unfolding drama, watching the trash get taken out. An official offers a formal apology, vowing that such a security failure will never happen again. He realizes he can't delay the elite contract any longer. Player Bong must be protected at all costs. A loyal subordinate checks in, asking if everything was settled smoothly after yesterday's mess. Player Bong confirms the police took care of the nuisance, though he makes it clear that the villain won't be meeting the executioner just yet. He demands to know the location of the detention center, but his superior shuts that down. Some things are better left unknown. The system flashes a notification. The Savage Meat Shield has been officially summoned. He stares in awe at the 5-star rating. He didn't know his summon was capable of such high-level power. With a call to action, they step into the 19th floor of the Korea Black Tower, tasked with hunting down 30 goblin shamans. A walk in the park compared to what's coming. He shrugs off the danger. What is there to worry about with a squad like this? The giant charges forward with earth-shattering force. His massive frame threatens to crush everything in his path. He honestly has no clue what's going on, but he's here for the ride. The environment shifts as they close in on their targets. A cataclysmic shockwave erupts as the warrior unleashes his raw, explosive power. The battlefield trembles under the sheer force of his unstoppable might. He watches in amazement as the curses are blown away by nothing more than a booming voice. Talk about a brute force solution to magic. The assassin lunges with lethal precision, closing the gap in a blur of movement. The hulking titan barely has a second to react before the strike lands. He reminds his summon to keep the pace fast. It's time to clear the board and end this mission once and for all. The agile warrior lunges forward, unaware of the massive, hulking beast charging relentlessly at his back. Tension explodes as a deadly ambush unfolds in the heart of the forest. The hero strikes with explosive force, shattering the goblin horde in a single, brutal collision. Their defenses crumble instantly under the sheer weight of his overwhelming power. He winds up for a final blow, ready to finish the job. The mission is cleared in record time, leaving everyone stunned. Did they seriously finish it that fast? A sudden, chilling presence stops him in his tracks. Tension spikes as he locks eyes with the deadly duo lurking in the shadows. His summon laughs, proud of the quick work, while player Bong realizes he's been completely sidelined from the action. A notification pops up. S++ rank achieved. That platinum badge is going to look great in his inventory. The next day, he enters the 20th floor, a place infamous for its brutal talent discernment test. He gets a briefing on the horrors awaiting him, everything from poison dart scouts to curse-flinging shamans. Ugh, sounds like a total nightmare. His summons tell him to stay in the back and play it safe. They've got the killing handled. The mission parameters are set, 100 goblins, 1 hobgoblin, and only 10 hours to do it. No pressure at all. The stakes are absolute. Failure means death, no room for second chances. He sighs, wondering if he's destined to be the spectator for the rest of his career. He commands his summon to pull the aggro so he can find an opening to strike. A lethal, crimson aura erupts as raw, uncontrollable power tears through the battlefield. The destruction is absolute. The goblin horde unleashes a barrage of dark magic and steel. Their ethereal reinforcements surge forward, ready to tear their enemies to shreds. He stands his ground, refusing to be a target for their petty magic. A blinding slash of blue energy tears through the night. The colossal warrior is caught in the wake of a lethal, high-speed strike. He pushes forward, leaving his summon to hold the line while he sprints ahead. He launches into the air with explosive power, narrowly dodging a lethal rain of arrows. The battlefield erupts as he defies gravity to strike back. He gasps, realizing he's finally pulled off a move he never thought possible. His summon cries out in alarm. Looks like even the pros get caught off guard sometimes. He reflects on his past, admitting he's been an introvert his entire life. Amidst the chaotic playground, a lonely boy isolates himself in a world of his own. He finds solace in his toy car, completely detached from the laughter surrounding him. He keeps his focus on his own little world, content to play alone. He struggles to find his footing in a world that never understood him. Elementary school was just as rough, being labeled rental trash because of his family's poverty. Kids are cruel, aren't they? Middle school brought more of the same, just a different building for his loneliness. He overhears someone mocking his gaming skills. Apparently, being a hard-stuck bronze is a cardinal sin in this world. By high school, he was the ultimate outcast, eating lunch in total silence. He was paralyzed by fear, unable to even dream of changing his miserable status quo. He stares at the monsters, wondering how he, the guy who couldn't look a bully in the eye, ended up fighting for his life in a tower. He realizes the beauty of it. Monsters don't judge him. They're just mindless targets. They're nothing more than quest mobs in a video game, and that makes things so much simpler. Just wipe them out, collect the loot, and move on. That's the only reality that matters now. His summon screams for him to stop, but he's already committed to the charge. A bloodthirsty horde of goblins lunges forward, weapons gleaming with lethal intent. They scream for blood as they charge headlong into the fray. He freezes for a split second, realizing he might have bitten off more than he can chew. Caught off guard, our hero launches a lightning-fast strike as the goblin prepares for a desperate counter. The tension explodes in a flash of raw power. A devastating strike connects, shattering the goblin's skull in a spray of neon gore. The monster doesn't stand a chance against such overwhelming force. He moves like a blur of lethal energy, tearing through the goblin horde with blinding speed. No one can stop this one-man massacre. His allies watch in shock. They had no idea he could push his shadow walk to such extreme levels. A warning rings out, but is it already too late? He narrowly avoids disaster, his heart hammering against his ribs. He lets out a shaky breath. If not for that energy shield, he'd be nothing but a pincushion right now. He admits to himself that this is terrifying, cursing his own decision to act like a tough guy. He cries out for help, the reality of the danger finally sinking in. His summon confirms the order. Run toward the cliff, and don't look back. His loyal protector narrows his eyes, his only goal to keep his summoner alive. He grunts as his stamina bars start to flicker red. He's hitting his limit. An unexpected surge of power leaves him stunned. His eyes widen as the raw energy crackles around him. He reaches the destination, gasping for air. Is this really the place? He looks around in confusion. There's nothing here but empty space. Panic begins to spiral as he realizes he has absolutely no backup plan. He stares into the void, convinced his time has finally run out. A barrage of enchanted spears slams into the giant's hand, shattering its defenses in a flash of raw power. The beast is reeling, but the onslaught has only just begun. The monster lets out a guttural, terrifying roar that shakes the very ground. A colossal, glowing fist slams down with earth-shattering force, obliterating the horde in a single, devastating blow. The battlefield trembles as the enemies are crushed into dust. His summon gives him a rough pat on the back. He actually pulled it off. The goblin mages unleash a terrifying blast of dark energy. Their sinister incantation marks the start of a brutal onslaught. He narrows his gaze. Now it's time to turn the tables. He focuses all his attention on the shamans perched on the cliffside. He scans the area, wondering if that's the last of them. He does a quick mental tally. That should be 100 kills, just in time for the system update. He signals the final push, leaving no room for error. He thanks his summon, though he's still a bit salty about being left out of the fight earlier. The air grows heavy with the arrival of a massive, looming threat. The final evolution of the goblin tree appears. A towering hobgoblin, ready to end them all. The beast lets out a cry that shakes the very foundations of the floor. He calls for his summon, knowing this is the biggest fight yet. His summon gestures as if to say, "Just block it, you wimp." He braces himself for the impact of a lifetime. A brutal, point-blank strike connects with the goblin's jaw. The monster is sent reeling by the sheer force of the impact. He yells at his summon to hold the beast steady. Today is the day they finally earn their keep. A flash of raw, overwhelming energy tears through the air. The atmosphere shatters under the weight of this unstoppable strike. With a flash of lethal precision, he drives his glowing blades deep into the beast's skull. The monster's reign ends in one brutal, decisive strike. The system pings, "Mission success. 100 goblins and one very dead hobgoblin later, they've done it." He levels up, and the loot starts pouring in. Healing potions and magic stones, just what he needed. He chuckles, realizing that maybe, just maybe, letting his summons do the heavy lifting isn't such a bad idea after all. He thanks his team for their protection, though they just huff in that classic "we're only doing our job" way. Another S++ rank secured. He's absolutely crushing these floors. The path to the 21st floor is finally open. He's unstoppable. He logs out, the atmosphere of the tower fading into the background. Breaking news. The internet is buzzing as the S++ record for the 20th floor is officially confirmed. The forums are in total chaos, with fans debating his identity and guessing which elite guild is hiding him. He sighs, knowing that setting records is great, but becoming a public target is a major headache he doesn't need right now. The higher-ups discuss keeping his identity secret, terrified that foreign powers might try to poach their golden goose. They pivot to the topic of Player Bong's family, checking if their investigation into his background is complete. They confirm his father is currently in rehab following a nasty accident. Everything is going exactly according to their dossier. They decide to go all in on support, referring him to the best medical facilities in the country. Scholarships, enlistment perks, they're basically offering him the moon just to stay on their good side. They turn their attention to the mother, asking what her current situation is. It turns out she's unemployed after a messy run-in with a nightmare customer. Talk about a rough break. They're warned to watch out for Mrs. Hong Jiamja. She's the real boss of that house, and nobody dares cross her. The order is given to execute the support plan immediately. They're pulling out all the stops to secure his loyalty. A knock at the door. Delivery is here, and he can smell that sweet, sweet takeout from a mile away. He tells the others to stay hidden. It's time for a secret feast. He ushers them away, making sure their presence remains a total mystery to the delivery driver. 12 orders of pork and 12 bowls of jajangmyeon. Now that is a feast fit for a king. The driver even throws in a free order of dumplings. Nice. He waves the driver off, though he's low-key annoyed that they only got one freebie for such a massive order. He inspects the bags, searching for a coupon, but finds nothing. Seriously, not even a discount? He ponders the mystery of how regular people even afford to eat, let alone use coupons. What a strange, frugal world they live in. He signals for his summons to come out. It's time to dig into that heavenly jajangmyeon. He asks his summon if he's ever tried the dish before. It's a cultural rite of passage. He watches in horror as his summon tries to eat the plate along with the noodles. Some people just aren't built for fine dining. He opens his inventory to see if his latest rewards have arrived. A special notification pops up. A secret perk granted for hitting 20 platinum badges. He wonders what kind of loot he's getting this time. The anticipation is killing him. The system grants him a mysterious, random box. Let's hope it's something legendary. A mysterious box materializes out of thin air, leaving our hero utterly baffled by this sudden, random loot drop. An exhaustive list of reward scrolls by magic stones, elixirs, legendary tickets. Honestly, who has the patience to read all that? The wall of text is practically a novel. He considers skimming it, but decides to just wing it instead. He tosses the basic metals and armor aside like yesterday's trash, hunting for the real treasure hidden in the pile. He weighs the level-up rune against a tower-jumping ticket, realizing that skipping floors might mean missing out on some juicy rewards. He connects the dots. The jumping ticket is a total trap for the lazy. The level-up rune is the undisputed winner. He eyes the multinational access ticket, dreaming of global domination or, at the very least, a decent vacation. The real jackpot is the LSSR summon ticket. If he lands that, he's set for life. He envisions a future where his summon does all the heavy lifting while he kicks back and enjoys the view. With 3 chances at glory, he's feeling lucky. He prays for a miracle, promising to turn over a new leaf if he hits the big time. A mysterious glowing cube emerges from the void, pulsing with infinite potential. What game-changing power lies hidden inside? The anticipation is killing him. Is it a dud or a dream come true? His inventory weight ticks up as the items materialize. The first item is revealed. A stack of magic stones. It's a total disappointment. But hey, 5 million won is 5 million won. Even heroes need pocket money. He goes back in for another round, hoping for something better. A notification pops up. He's just acquired the primordial thunderclap staff. He's absolutely stoked. A skill with a name like that has to be top tier, right? He'll worry about the stats after the adrenaline wears off. 3rd time's the charm. Let's see what the final item is. The suspense is building to an unbearable peak. It's a summoned entity rank-up rune. He hits the jackpot. This is exactly what he needed. He realizes this is the perfect tool to boost his allies to the next level of power. He's torn between his 2 goofy but reliable allies. Trying to pick a favorite is like deciding which child is less of a headache. He leans toward Cossack, remembering all the meals they've shared together. He reads the fine print. The rank-up process takes time and the entity will be unavailable, but the boost is permanent. He decides to put the new skill to the test before worrying about the rune. The primordial thunderclap staff is a growth-type skill with 3 distinct forms. He's ready to turn his combat game up to 11. The knowledge of the first form, soul-chasing thunderbolt, floods his brain in an instant. Time to see if this technique has any real kick to it. He shouts the name of the skill, channeling the raw power of the storm. Nothing happens, and he breathes a sigh of relief. If he could dish out that kind of damage in the real world, the planet would be toast by now. His companion notices the mace swinging wildly and asks what the heck he's doing. He boasts about his new growth-type attack skill, grinning from ear to ear. The excitement is palpable as he prepares to show off his new toy. The massive warrior lunges with his blade, but the young protagonist stands his ground. A tense standoff erupts as metal clashes in the blink of an eye. A food-related argument breaks out. Apparently, spitting out a meal is a cardinal sin in this warrior's book. The next day, he contemplates the burden of being a summoner. He reflects on the specific trait he awakened. It's a power multiplier build where the summon does the heavy lifting. As an irregular, he doesn't need to be on the front lines, which is perfect for someone who values their own skin. He thinks back to the previous contractor who held this same power. That poor soul didn't make it, despite being significantly stronger than our hero. The strength fades as life slips through trembling fingers. Darkness consumes everything in this final, desperate reach. The tragedy wasn't just his death. His entire world was erased. It's no wonder Cossack is so protective. He's seen how this story ends before. But he's a man with a point to prove. He's tired of being the protected one. He wants to be the one dishing out the pain. His summons are bound by absolute obedience, so he just needs to be persuasive enough to get his way. He designates a new shield and prepares to lay down the law. He arrives, shocked by the sheer look of worry plastered across his companion's face. He realizes the tension is all because he's been acting recklessly with his new attack skills. Goblins are one thing, but he knows he's pushing his luck with the stronger monsters. He tries to apologize, but it's clear he's about to pull some shady tactics to get his way. He's ready to argue his case, no matter how much they resist. He officially invokes the third law of the summoned. The laws are clear. The summoner's life is the top priority, and absolute obedience is mandatory. Caught in a crushing bear hug, our hero is terrified by the sudden arrival of this absolute titan. The pressure is mounting as this mountain of a man clamps down. He shouts at his summons, trying to regain some dignity. They've clearly plotted against him, refusing to let him run wild until they're safe inside the tower. The conspiracy is real. They've basically grounded him like a child. He sighs, realizing he's been completely outmaneuvered by his own summons. He tries to plead his case, promising to be careful, but they aren't buying it. He swears on his life, desperate for just one kill to prove he's not useless. He begs them to trust him, using the safety-first card to sway them. They finally relent, but warn him they're watching his every move. They step onto the 21st floor, ready to clear the stage. He insults the intelligence of the orcs, only for his summon to point out that he might not be much smarter. He tries to stall, but they're having none of it. It's time for a practice round against a living dummy. He's told to hit his ally 10 times. He's hesitant, but they insist it's for his own good. He decides hitting an orc is better than hitting his friend, so they head into battle. The mission is clear: defeat 30 forest orcs within 4 hours. He screams that he's taking the lead, but his summon is right on his heels. The hero delivers a bone-shattering strike, sending his massive opponent flying into the wall with devastating force. Impact. The impact sounds like a thunderclap. These orcs are going down hard. A single, lightning-fast strike decapitates the monsters in one brutal motion. The battlefield is silenced as heads roll and blood sprays into the night. The speed is incredible. Even he is impressed. At this rate, he won't even get a chance to show off his own kills. He keeps pushing forward, determined to get a piece of the action. He finds a target and prepares to show the orc who's boss. The hunt is on, and he's feeling the rhythm of the battle. He watches from the back, waiting for the perfect opening. A monster shrieks in the distance, sensing its doom. With a flash of raw speed, he narrowly evades the orc's crushing blow. The battle reaches a fever pitch as the hunter dances on the edge of death. He realizes the first form of his skill is deceptively simple. A blinding surge of raw power erupts, shattering the silence. The battlefield trembles as an unstoppable force is unleashed. It's not just a strike. It's a demonstration of pure, concentrated lightning. The primordial thunderclap staff is living up to its legendary name. The soul-chasing thunderbolt is locked and loaded. He realizes he's been underselling his own power this entire time. A radiant grin lights up his face as he stands amidst the glowing chaos. He's ready to take on the world with unstoppable confidence. With a single, thunderous strike, he crushes the beast beneath his might. The monster doesn't stand a chance against this overwhelming power. The lone warrior stands triumphant, his glowing mace still crackling with raw, lethal power. Another foe has fallen, but the hunt is only just beginning. He's feeling unstoppable. This is way too easy. The hulking orc swings his massive axe with lethal intent, but our hero is already one step ahead. A lightning-fast counter is coming. He asks if he should go for seconds, feeling like a total boss. The orc is gasping for air, completely overwhelmed. He plays innocent, pretending he didn't realize he was supposed to pace himself. Mission success. He levels up and the rewards are flowing in. He clears the floor with an S++ ranking and earns a fancy platinum badge to boot. The next day, he takes on a desert orc without breaking a sweat. Another S++ rank in the bag. He's on a roll. The day after that, a cave orc meets the same fate. Another S++ rank. Is there anything this guy can't do? Even the volcano orc falls to his might. With his summons by his side, he's turning the tower into his personal playground. Another S++ rank. He's basically speedrunning the tower now. The long-awaited 25th floor is finally within his grasp. He knows he's only scratching the surface, but he's building the reputation he needs. He figures it's finally time to hand over that rank-up rune. He calls his summons over, wondering if they're actually planning to slack off. He tosses the rune to them, playing it cool like it's just a snack. They realize what it is, and their eyes go wide with pure shock. They are moved to tears. The idea of ranking up is a dream come true for them. The realization hits. He's actually going to make them SSR-tier entities. They swear to protect him even harder now. It's almost sweet, if they weren't terrifying monsters. He asks if they're starting the ritual now, but they warn him to be patient. They promise to return in their new, upgraded forms. He offers them some TV time because why not? They settle in to watch some television, acting more human than they have any right to. He jokes about the VOD costs, but they're too busy watching the news. Suddenly, his mood shifts. He sees something on the screen that makes his blood boil. He freezes, recognizing a face on the news. It's his mom. Why on earth is she in the spotlight? She's leading a protest against corporate tyranny, fighting for workers' rights. She's had enough of the unfair treatment and she's not staying quiet anymore. She reveals the humiliating demands the company made of her, and his anger starts to flare. The company fired her just for standing up for herself. This is personal now. She's been protesting alone for days, and the executives have done nothing but mock her. The corporate stooges think she's a joke, but they have no idea who they're messing with. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. A lawyer approaches her in the middle of her protest. He introduces himself as an attorney from a top-tier firm. A law firm? What could they possibly want with her? The tension spikes as he catches wind of something truly unbelievable. His eyes lock onto the chaos with pure, unfiltered disbelief. She thinks it's another threat and prepares to fight, but the lawyer tries to calm her down. He's here to help her sue the corporation into the ground. The top law firm in the country is offering to represent her for free? That sounds like a plot twist. He explains that this is part of their annual charity project for the vulnerable. She's skeptical, but she doesn't think he's a con artist. She's at a crossroads. Should she trust the stranger? He promises to stake the firm's reputation on her victory. She decides it's time to go all in. She agrees to the deal, ready to take the fight to the next level. The lawyer suggests taking the story to the press immediately. The protest for justice is officially gaining momentum. He tells her to spill every detail to the reporters. It's time to expose the company's ugly face to the world. She's ready to fight for her dignity. Our hero watches on, realizing his mom has been suffering in silence this whole time. He feels like an absolute failure for not being there for her when she needed him most. He wonders how she landed such high-profile help. That kind of legal power doesn't come cheap. Bong Joon-hyuk ponders a power move. Should he pay a little visit to the Jean Spring Water Company? He notes the guy is surprisingly quick on the uptake, admirable but perhaps a bit too eager for his liking. He warns against it, having seen his mother's interview and noting she secured a decent lawyer. He was ready to burn the whole company to the ground, but I guess he'll keep his matches in his pocket for now. He decides to send funds for the legal fees later, tallying up his stash of magic stones and his trusty energy shield kit as a backup. A quick digital distraction pops up, but the focus remains on the looming family drama. The bombshell drops. Mom's legal fees are completely free, thanks to a support program. He was ready to go broke for nothing. Talk about an unexpected win. His father laughs off the idea of him having that kind of cash and tells him to just focus on his own path. Then, a mysterious call from Ilsung Hospital throws a massive wrench into the conversation. It turns out his father has been selected for a special hip surgery and rehabilitation project, completely free of charge. Everything is free. Is he living in a fairy tale or just getting incredibly lucky? This smells like a plot twist waiting to happen. His father insists he stop worrying about them and stay focused. He knows Ilsung is a top-tier hospital, but something about this sudden charity feels fishy. Min Hyuk is overwhelmed. What is going on with his family today? He checks in with Hyung, confirming they both saw the interview. Hyung is fuming, ready to explode over how hard their mother worked, only to be treated like garbage. He asks if his brother still needs that laptop, but luckily he's got enough saved to cover it. A scholarship arrives just in time. Maybe being a good person actually pays off for once? He checks the source. It's a national scholarship from the Awakener Management Administration. They're handing them out like candy. The realization hits him like a truck. It wasn't divine intervention or luck. It was the Awakener Management Administration pulling all the strings behind the scenes. He calls the team leader, demanding a quiet place to talk, and he's getting a personal chauffeur service to boot. The tension builds as the meeting location is set. He cuts straight to the chase, confronting the leader about the lawsuit, the hospital fees, and his brother's scholarship. The leader doesn't even bother denying it, claiming it was an absolute necessity. The logic is cold. If his home life is a mess, his performance in the tower suffers. He asks if this is the kind of special treatment reserved only for the elite team. The air in the room is suffocating as the secret agenda is laid bare. A thunderous slam rocks the room, leaving our hero frozen in absolute terror. The tension just hit a breaking point. The elite team contract lies on the table, a paper shackle disguised as an opportunity. The leader pushes for a signature right here, right now. He stammers in confusion, caught completely off guard. The demand for the official signature is repeated, firmer than before. This guy came fully prepared. He didn't leave a single loophole. He tries to play humble, insisting his talent isn't actually that special. The atmosphere freezes as a towering figure looms over the startled protagonist. Tension fills the room. There's nowhere left to hide. The leader calls his bluff, pointing to the unprecedented records he's already shattered. A cold sweat breaks as he stares into the face of pure disbelief. The shocking truth has just left him completely stunned. He tries to argue, but with an S++ rating across 24 floors, he's basically just doing a bad job of being modest. He is begged to join, reminded of the incident with that scumbag Choi Ho-suk. The leader tells him he's earned this treatment and deserves to be protected. He's still hesitant. He hates the idea of a constant shadow, and he needs to film his climbs. The recording requirement is a deal-breaker. He can't let his secret summons be exposed. The leader offers to let him handle the footage his own way. Talk about a flexible boss. He offers high-security housing and even protection for his family. But our hero is trying hard not to be swayed. They sweeten the deal with 2 houses. He's finding it impossible to say no to that. The leader claims he has full authority from the director, but this deal feels suspiciously fast. The pen is held out, waiting for the final word. He asks for a moment. The leader is so close he can practically smell the ink. He begs for more time, clearly stalling. He claims he needs outside advice, and the leader is forced to wait. The next day, he zaps his summons into existence to consult his advisors. The special rare assassin glows so bright it's practically blinding. A rank-up occurs, evolving the summon to a higher tier. He demands the summon tone it down before he goes blind. He asks if he should summon the R-rank horse Gobang, but first, he needs to discuss the elite contract offer. Cossack is dismissive of Gobang, but listens intently to the proposal. He asks for an honest opinion. Stay normal or go elite. Cossack is all for the elite team. His summoner deserves top-tier treatment. He worries about the future. but Cossack assures him that everything is going according to plan. He is still uneasy about the scale of it all. Cossack reveals that in his old world, legends were a dime a dozen, and his summoner will reach those heights too. They will all pledge obedience, provided he follows the rules. There are even demigod-class monsters out there that transcend all human limits. He can't even begin to imagine that kind of power. For now, the rankings are the limit, but growth is inevitable. He is told to live long and keep summoning. That's his true finishing move. With a 1-month cooldown, he's looking at a dozen chances to pull something game-breaking. Of course, if his luck is trash, it's all for nothing. The timer ticks down. The next summon is just 19 days away. Cossack gives him one piece of non-negotiable advice. He must demand total control over which floors to climb, or else the vultures will swarm him. The memory of past harassment is still painful. He's been there before. He finally agrees. Take the support but never lose control of the pace. The Savage Meat Shield, Gobang, is officially designated. Gobang arrives, but the greeting is predictably cold. A warrior doesn't waste pleasantries on just anyone, apparently. Gobang is boasting about being an SSR, rubbing it in the assassin's face. The 2-rank gap is causing some serious ego friction. Gobang is clearly avoiding eye contact. Even the dense Gobang knows when to read the room and shut up. If he gets a rank-up rune, he knows exactly who to give it to. He actually feels bad for the guy. They're aiming for another platinum badge on the 25th floor, tasked with hunting 100 orcs and a chieftain. He's feeling confident enough to take a few out solo. Time to warm up and celebrate that SSR status. He tells Gobang to take the lead and draw all the heat. Gobang is more than happy to soak up all the damage. A colossal foot descends from the heavens, ready to crush everything in its path. The ground trembles as an unstoppable force prepares to make its mark. The massive beastman lunges forward, his fists glowing with raw, destructive power. He's ready to crush everything in his path with a single earth-shattering blow. The monsters freeze in sheer terror, realizing they've picked a fight with the wrong human. Their eyes widen as death stares them right in the face. A devastating shockwave obliterates the ground, sending the combatants flying into the air. Pure, unadulterated power just tore the battlefield apart. Cossack unleashes his SSR tier attack, and it is glorious. The orcs don't stand a chance. It felt like a fighter jet just tore through the clearing. The assassin moves like a ghost, his blades thirsty for blood. A single, lethal strike pierces through the unsuspecting horde. One by one, the monsters fall to the overwhelming power of this unstoppable attack. Blade explosion activates, turning the area into a war zone. It's not just a skill anymore. It's basically a handheld bazooka of death. A flurry of spears screams through the air as the lone warrior braces for the incoming slaughter. Nowhere to run, he stands his ground against the lethal storm. He makes his move with cold, calculated precision. The monsters growl, but it's too late for them. A terrifying gaze pierces through the darkness, locking onto its prey with pure, blood-red malice. The beast has finally awakened, and its hunger knows no bounds. Raw, unbridled power surges through him. He's awakening a terrifying, hidden strength that threatens to shatter everything. He delivers a lethal surprise to the cowering orcs, while ambush strikes from the shadows, leaving no survivors. A lethal dance of blades. He cuts through the swarm with a cold, blood-stained grin. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. The orcs try to fight back, but they're just punching air. He mocks them for looking so sour while he prepares his poison daggers. This is just the opening act, and the orcs are already falling. He has to pick up the pace before the summons clear the whole board. Shadow Step allows him to zip across the field instantly. The orcs let out their final, pathetic cries as they vanish. He remembers Cossack's words, "Safety is your ability." He knows the advice is sound, but he can't stop here. He needs to keep pushing his limits. The goal is simple. Get strong enough so his family never has to worry again. He readies his staff, the air beginning to whirl with energy. Relying on Cossack forever isn't an option. He needs to stand on his own. The drive to get stronger is becoming an obsession. He pushes himself, his resolve hardening like steel. A single, bone-shattering kick sends the enemy flying. The impact echoes with raw, unstoppable power. The beast slams into the earth with bone-shattering force. The ground buckles under the sheer weight of its desperate strike. The enemy tries to growl, but it's a losing battle. The first form of the primordial thunderclap staff is unleashed. With a thunderous strike, he shatters his enemy's skull in a spray of purple gore. The battle ends in a single brutal blow. The orcs are being wiped out in record time. He roars, channeling the energy of the storm. Reality fractures as a surge of raw, digital energy tears through the void. The system is breaking down. Shadow step again, keeping the enemies guessing where he'll strike next. Gravity-defying action meets explosive power as he slams the electrified ball into his target. The impact is deafening, leaving no room for escape. A lightning-fast strike meets a brutal axe swing in midair. Sparks fly as the battlefield erupts in a desperate, high-stakes collision. A blinding explosion of raw power tears through the battlefield. The target doesn't stand a chance against this devastating strike. The second form is finally unlocked. Cascading thunderbolts. He's stunned by the sudden evolution of his skill. He instinctively understands the technique, but he has no idea how much destruction it's about to cause. The staff crackles with newfound, terrifying potential. The hero stands his ground, weaving a blinding web of golden magic to repel the savage horde. One wrong move means total annihilation. He calls out the name of the skill and the heavens answer. Lightning splits into 5 distinct, lethal streams, homing in on his targets. It's an AoE skill. He's basically a walking thunderstorm now. He's confused. Since when do these orcs have lightning resistance? They scream as the bolts hit home, frying them instantly. His summons call out to him, but he's already lost in the heat of battle. He's unstoppable, a conductor of pure, unbridled destruction. He gets a reality check. Maybe he shouldn't be getting so carried away. He offers a quick apology, feeling a little sheepish. Wait a second, why is he apologizing to someone he summoned? The hierarchy is getting a little blurry for his liking. He's tired of walking on eggshells. Outside he might be a pushover, but inside the tower he's the alpha. He's done with the safety-first lecture. He wants the war chief to show his face. He's ready to charge in and finish this once and for all. A sudden cry rings out across the chaotic battlefield. Could it be Neen? He panics, realizing his summoner has arrived at the absolute worst possible moment. He screams at the top of his lungs, desperately signaling for Kosik to get into position. Boom! The earth trembles as a violent explosion of dust and debris tears through the air. He curses his own hesitation, regretting that he didn't listen to Kosik's advice from the start. He bellows for his ally to strike down the orc war chief before it's too late. The monstrous orc locks its lethal gaze onto its prey, teeth bared in a primal, bloodthirsty snarl. The hunt is officially on. He commands his summon to defend him at all costs. No excuses allowed. He rallies his partner, Go Bang, preparing for the final, desperate push. A deafening roar shatters the air as the beast prepares to unleash its fury. The behemoth releases a surge of raw energy. Nothing in its path can hope to survive the strike. The very atmosphere buckles under the crushing pressure of the incoming attack. With a surge of crackling power, he seizes the massive hammer in a grip that defies reality, his veins pulsing with divine energy. Pure, unadulterated terror freezes the orc in his tracks. He never saw that strike coming. A thunderous stomp descends with earth-shattering force, ensuring nobody is walking away from this one. The Beastman channels explosive power into an overhead strike. One crushing blow is all it takes to shatter the ground. He activates his hidden trump card. Vile Ambush. Mission complete. The system interface flashes, showering him in experience points and precious magic stones. He's done it. An S++ rank clear for the 25th floor. The rewards are absolutely legendary. With the floor cleared, the tower signals that the next challenge awaits. Time to gear up and move out. A rare perk is unlocked. Accumulating 25 platinum badges has finally paid off in a big way. The Encore perk selection menu flickers to life, presenting a world of new, game-breaking possibilities. He stares at the screen in utter disbelief. Is that really an Encore selection? He surveys his options: trait enhancement, skill copying, and entity rank-ups. Talk about a total jackpot. Decisions. With this much power on the table, he's definitely not holding back today. He doesn't hesitate for a single second. Trait enhancement is the only logical choice for a player of his ambition. His status screen updates, revealing his terrifying new strength and an expanded roster of summons. Things are looking up. His simultaneous summon limit has officially hit 3. With himself and his 3 summons, he's essentially a one-man army. Who's next to join the squad? But for now, he has more pressing matters to attend to. He turns to his summons with a casual grin, wondering what they're in the mood for. He playfully mocks his teammate for wanting spicy food when they clearly can't handle the heat. He claims he's a changed man now that he's SSR ranked, but we all know he's still a total spice wimp. He celebrates the successful mission with a well-deserved, massive feast. He takes a tentative bite, relieved to find the food is sweet rather than scorching his tongue. He's genuinely surprised that he managed to avoid a culinary disaster today. He struggles to keep his composure, desperately trying to hide his secret identity. He sighs, frustrated that his current summon just isn't cutting it. Time for an upgrade. The burden of the 25th floor weighs on him. Maybe it's finally time to come clean to his family. The sun sets over the silent complex, masking the dark secrets hidden within these concrete walls. A chilling calm descends as shadows stretch. He strolls home, treating his mom to premium beef. Nothing says, "I'm a powerful player," like expensive steak. She immediately grills him on the source of his money, but he keeps his lips sealed tight. She is panicked by the luxury, convinced he's gone off the deep end with his spending habits. A warm, toothy grin lights up the room as he shares a light-hearted moment. The tension melts away under his laughter. He reflects on how far they've come. The lawsuits and medical bills are finally a thing of the past. He tries to hint at his new life as an awakened player, but it sounds like a wild, tall tale to them. He is notoriously bad at keeping secrets, but he's doing his absolute best to play it cool. His brother laughs it off, assuming it's just another one of his weird video game obsessions. A sudden notification freezes him in his tracks. Whatever he just read has caught him completely off guard. The next morning brings a massive, irreversible shift in his reality. Officials confirm the rumors. Their son is officially an elite player and a vital national asset. He is ushered into a high-level government office, the weight of his new status finally hitting home. He promises his family a brand new life in a new home, funded by his hard-earned success. The paperwork is official. He's signed his life away to the Awakener Management Administration. Every detail is locked in. He's no longer just a regular citizen. He's a government-sanctioned elite. He can't believe he actually put pen to paper and signed that elite contract. A sudden realization strikes him as he prepares to sign the life-changing contract. The gears are turning, and there is no turning back now. Life is funny. He never intended to go this far, but here he is, climbing the ranks of the elite. 2,000,000,001. He's trying to act like a professional, but inside, his brain is melting at the massive salary. He plays his cards close to the chest, terrified of what happens if the world finds out he's the S++ record holder. If his face ends up on the news, his quiet family life is over. He's not ready for that level of fame. They check in to see if his family is happy with the new living arrangements. The government really knows how to roll out the red carpet. He is overwhelmed by the luxury, insisting that everything is more than perfect. His brother is living the dream with his new high-end gaming setup. It's a total upgrade from their old life. They offer him even more, but he's already feeling like he's living in a palace. He walks into his new apartment, completely floored by the sheer, unbridled luxury of it all. It's the biggest penthouse in the city, and it's all his. High above the city, the tension melts away as they unwind with a luxurious soak. It's pure, top-tier indulgence. The laughter and giggles fill the room, a stark, welcome contrast to the danger of the tower. The tension hits a breaking point as a surprise embrace catches her off guard. Sparks are flying, and there's no turning back. Enter Yu Cheol-min, the arrogant rank 1 player who thinks he owns the world. He's at the peak of his power, currently scaling the 66th floor and acting like the undisputed king of the tower. He's literally drinking money, showing off with a glass of liquid that costs more than most people make in a year. He has the girls hanging on his every word, bragging about his dominance as the top player. They ask the burning question: who is the mysterious player clearing floors with S++ ranks? He scoffs, clearly threatened by the idea that someone else is stealing his thunder. She pushes him further, clearly enjoying how much the topic irritates him. He demands more info, his ego bruised by the mere mention of a rival. He threatens to stop his raid just to show everyone how much they depend on him. He reminds them that he's the only thing standing between Korea and total annihilation. He doesn't mince words. If he fails, the country falls. He gets aggressive, making sure everyone knows who really holds the power in this room. His mood is absolutely ruined. Someone's a little sensitive today, aren't they? He's sick of hearing about S++ everywhere he goes. He wants to be the only one at the top. The name keeps popping up like a recurring nightmare for him. He's absolutely seething with pure jealousy. Foreign powers are throwing fortunes at him, trying to lure him away from Korea. Japan is offering him the world, but he's still here, bitter and angry. He vents his frustration. Why is everyone talking about some rookie instead of his 66th floor struggle? He's seriously considering jumping ship to a country that will treat him like a god. He laments the horrors of the 66th floor, where ghosts negate physical attacks and leave players scarred for life. The mental trauma is real. He needs days just to recover from the sheer horror of those specters. Even with the best gear and support, he's barely surviving. He's clearly reaching his limit. He's convinced that clearing the 66th floor is an impossible task. Maybe it's time to stop thinking about it and start packing his bags for a new citizenship. The news headlines would be absolute chaos if he jumped ship. The clock is ticking, and the tower collapse countdown is looming over the country. They're all counting on him, but he's currently checking out of the hotel. By the time they realize he's gone, it'll be far too late. He curses the country that he feels hasn't appreciated him enough. What a total drama queen. 10 whole fried chickens? Someone's living the high life. The convenience of living in a player-dedicated facility is starting to spoil him rotten. Maids, laundry, and errands. It's like he's living in a 5-star resort instead of a deadly combat zone. The place has everything from a gym to a karaoke room. How does he ever find time to actually climb the tower? If you have this much convenience, why would you ever leave? The 26th floor was a swampy nightmare, but thanks to his skills, he made it look easy. He calls his summons over for a feast. Even heroes need their protein. They're ready to dig in. Who knew monsters liked fried chicken so much? He tries to get their attention, but they are completely mesmerized by the TV. A girl group is playing on the screen, and he's been completely ignored. Honestly, who can blame them? Priorities, right? He's planning to push through to the 29th floor tomorrow. No rest for the wicked. Why stop at 29? Let's aim for the stars. The plan is set. 10 days of grinding until the cooldown resets, then a full 4-man squad for the 30th. The excitement is palpable. A new member is coming. The summons are getting jealous, worried about their position as his right-hand men. An attendant arrives with the specialized gear he requested. Volcano orc leather armor, guaranteed to keep him warm in the bitterest of cold. It's the least they can do for their favorite elite player. The 27th floor awaits, and it's notorious for its freezing temperatures. The air is biting, but he's prepared. With the right gear, the cold is just another obstacle to be crushed. He asks Go Bang if he's cold, but the warrior refuses to admit weakness. Kosik is clearly shivering, trying to use magic to stay warm while failing miserably. He's smart, but he's definitely not the brightest bulb in the box. He's doing the "I'm definitely not cold" dance to keep his blood flowing. The hunt is on. Time to clear another floor. Kosik is moving like a man possessed, probably just to stop his teeth from chattering. He's getting a little too comfortable. It's starting to feel like a spa day for him. He tells his team to hurry up. There's loot to be claimed. Another floor down, another level up. Kosik is bragging about his speed, even though he's clearly just trying to get out of the cold. A holy sword reward. This is exactly what he needed. Another S++ rank. The platinum badges are starting to pile up. He takes a look at his new loot, but something seems off. It's a two-handed sword, but it looks like it's seen better centuries. It's heavy, worn out, and honestly, a bit of a disappointment. Time to see how much this piece of junk fetches at the shop. It's got some decent stats against the undead, but the durability is a nightmare. He wonders if anyone else wants to take this rusty blade off his hands. His warrior companion isn't interested. Fists are all he needs. Kosik is sticking to his own gear. Looks like the sword is finding no takers. Another trip to the shop, another headache. Being a player is such a chore sometimes. He decides to give it one last swing to see if it's worth the trouble. He winds up for a massive strike. He puts his entire back into it. The sword cuts through the air with surprising force. He's winded. This thing is way heavier than it looks. He tells them to quit the flattery. He knows he was struggling with that rusty piece of metal. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. It's time to dive into the deep lore. Click the link to the official scans to catch every single detail of this wild journey. A chilling warning echoes through the air. If the barrier between Earth and the tower dissolves, every single restriction on player power will be shredded to pieces. The consequences are catastrophic. If the towers collapse, the rules of the tower will overwrite our reality, stripping away every last safety measure keeping humanity intact. The omen of total destruction is officially here, and the countdown to the end of the world has begun. Tensions are skyrocketing at the Japanese embassy in Seoul. Stay tuned to the official site for all the latest updates on this diplomatic mess. The rabbit drops a total bombshell. It's abandoning its old nest for a new one, and surprisingly, this might actually be a win for our heroes. He brushes off the mounting panic, insisting he'll handle the crisis himself, all while trying to manage a chaotic, screen-glitching video call in the background. Counselor Tomo receives a terrifying ultimatum. A metaphorical typhoon is barreling toward them, and it's going to leave a path of total devastation. The Black Tower in Gangwon-do looms ominously as the 66th floor climb gets underway, and our protagonist can feel the omens of destruction creeping closer than ever. He knows he isn't quite at the top-tier level yet, so he settles into a steady, methodical pace, refusing to let the paralyzing fear of the unknown break his concentration. Safety is the name of the game. He resets his focus, shifting his sights from the cleared 28th floor to the deadly challenges of the 29th. The 28th floor was a nightmare of jungle trolls dropping from the canopy, and honestly, he would have been absolute toast without some serious backup. Enter Go Bang, the muscle of the team, ready to smash through anything in his path. He's officially the MVP of the day. It's a total miracle Go Bang can even function with that single-track brain, but man, does he pack the raw power of a true SSR ranker. Chestnuts are raining down like artillery fire, and Kosik tears through the opposition with surgical precision to seal the victory. But as he turns his gaze toward the 29th floor, the mood takes a sharp, sour turn. This isn't going to be a clean, effortless sweep, not by a long shot. The plague trolls are as gross as they sound, leaking toxic pus that infects players on contact. It's a total biohazard nightmare. He takes a deep breath, steeling his nerves for the infection-filled chaos waiting behind the gate. The summons are locked and loaded. John Cossack and the Savage Meat Shield are reporting for duty. Kosik arrives with a sharp salute, but Go Bang is still obsessing over his weird Argobang nickname. Seriously? Buddy, work on your personal branding. With the team assembled, they step onto the 29th floor, ready to wade through the filth. The objective is brutal. Take down 20 plague trolls in under 4 hours, or it's game over. He offers them masks for protection, but they just scoff. A true SSR-ranked warrior doesn't have time for germs, even if the air smells like a dumpster fire. It's time to see what this floor is really made of. Check out the latest chapter for all the gory action. Who knew that having summons who are literally immune to sickness would make hunting speed go through the roof? Mission accomplished. With a massive S++ rating and a fancy platinum badge to show for it, they've absolutely crushed the 29th floor. Gobang is already thinking about his next meal, casually asking if they're hitting up a team dinner to celebrate. He offers a quick, dismissive apology, though his teammates are too busy cheering to even notice his lack of sentiment. Summon release. Time to head back to the kitchen and refuel after a long day of zombie slaying. He feels a pang of guilt about leaving Gobang behind, but imagine the property damage a giant troll-killing machine would cause in a brand new apartment. The next day brings a brand new grind at the Awakener Management Administration gym. Keep up with every single development by reading the full chapter online. Sweat beads on her brow as she ties her hair back, her intensity reaching a fever pitch. This is what pure, unadulterated focus looks like. The 62nd floor's dark zombies are an absolute nightmare. Their aura corrupts everything it touches, making victory seem like a pipe dream. She stares at the challenge ahead, wondering if she's finally hit her absolute limit. But deep down, she knows giving up isn't an option. As an elite, she has to keep pushing, even if it means breaking every bone in her body to find a way forward. She shouts for a protein refill, channeling every single ounce of positive energy she has left to keep the pace. A little bit of Aya goes a long way when you're fighting for your very survival. She suddenly pauses, sensing that something is horribly off. Her friend arrives, looking completely frazzled and pale. Everyone is scurrying around like the building is ablaze, and she finally realizes the news has just dropped. She mutters under her breath, cursing that traitorous bastard, Min. The administration has been too busy playing political games to actually manage their elite teams, and it's finally coming back to bite them hard. With the top talent jumping ship, the future of South Korea looks absolutely bleak. Min has officially defected to Japan, leaving his home country in the dust to chase a bigger paycheck. Catch the full, dramatic fallout in the latest release. The news hits like a shockwave. The country's #1 player is gone, and the administration is scrambling, turning to Bong for a miracle. They hit him with the big question. Can he clear the 60th floors? He knew this was coming, but he didn't expect their desperation to be this pathetic. He crunches the numbers. He's only on the 29th floor, and even with a lightning-fast pace, the math for reaching the 66th floor just doesn't add up. It's a recipe for disaster. One tough section could cost him 10 days, and he's not about to rush his climb for a shallow political PR stunt. He tries to turn them down, but the look on their faces makes his resolve crack. It's hard to say no when the whole country is looking at you with sad, puppy dog eyes. He stands his ground, though. He refuses to make a promise he knows he can't keep. The team leader, Nam Jae-ellen, interrupts with an urgent, breathless update. She asks about the American Light Attribute items, desperate for any edge they can get. The supply is bone dry and she's running on fumes. She apologizes for the intrusion, but she's clearly at her absolute wit's end. She notices our hero, and suddenly, she's a lot more interested in the guest, sitting quietly in the corner. The air gets a little awkward as their eyes lock. He decides to play it cool, pulling out an item he's been holding on to, a perfect solution for their light attribute shortage. He offers it up for a test drive, and the look on her face says she's already hooked. She takes the sword, her hands trembling as she scans the incredible stats. It's a holy attribute powerhouse with anti-undead passives that are completely unheard of. She's absolutely floored. She's ready to do whatever it takes to get her hands on that blade. She's completely breathless, caught in a moment of pure, heart-stopping shock at the discovery. She practically begs for it, promising him anything in exchange for the holy weapon. The scene shifts into a full-blown fantasy sequence. They're walking toward the altar, as if this sword deal is the start of a beautiful, Cursed romance. The delusions are getting way out of hand, and honestly, it's hilarious. Check out the full breakdown of this bizarre encounter online. They're already planning their honeymoon and naming their future kids. Somebody needs to tell these two to calm down.
Bong Holy Swat.
The name is as terrible as their collective judgment, but she's too far gone to care. She's ready to plant a kiss on him, completely ignoring the fact that they're in the middle of a high-stakes negotiation. Reality crashes back in as she realizes she's been screaming at him for the last 5 minutes. The tension hits an all-time high as he lets out a long, shaky exhale. The pressure of dealing with these weirdos is truly suffocating. He brushes off the fantasy. He's clearly been spacing out, and the awkwardness is physically palpable. He finally agrees to lend it to her, and she's so relieved she promises him anything he wants later on. He turns to leave, determined to clear the 62nd floor once and for all. She wishes him luck, while he wonders if the sword is actually any good or if he just offloaded a piece of junk for a high price. How much could a rusty old sword really be worth? Probably not much, right? He steps into the 62nd floor, the system buffing his physical abilities to match the deadly environment. The mission is set: 20 dark zombies, 15 hours, and absolutely zero room for failure. Failure isn't just an option, it's a death sentence. He watches as the things that shouldn't be alive start to stir in the shadows. The undead are rising, and they look absolutely famished. A flesh-crawling dread hits him instantly. No matter how many times he does this, that sickening aura never gets easier to handle. He activates the holy sword, watching as a faint white radiance starts to flicker to life. It's a bit dimmer than he expected, and he starts to wonder if he's actually going to survive or if he's just brought a flashlight to a gunfight. The monstrous entity lunges forward, wreathed in terrifying, crackling violet energy. Its razor-sharp claws are ready to tear through anything in its path. He stops second-guessing. There's only one way to find out if the sword actually works. He charges the enemy head-on. After all, that's just what a top-tier player does. Steel meets supernatural fury as our hero lunges forward to deflect a lethal strike. Sparks fly in a desperate, high-stakes clash for survival. The dark aura is closing in, threatening to swallow him whole. His body feels like lead, and for a split second, he thinks the holy sword is doing absolutely nothing. He grunts in frustration, putting every ounce of his strength into the next swing. Suddenly, the steadfast spirit effect kicks in, and the tide begins to turn. The zombie lets out a confused, guttural roar as its defenses crumble. What just happened? A massive critical hit lands, and the dark aura evaporates on contact. He realizes he's finally found the secret to winning this fight. Critical hits chain together, one after another, as he systematically dismantles the undead threat. With the first kill in the bag, he realizes this might actually be easier than he thought. Who would have guessed? The countdown begins. With a sharp, practiced flick of the wrist, he prepares to make his move. 2 hours have passed since she entered the floor, and the waiting game is starting to get seriously tense. Usually, she's back by now if things go south, so the silence is making everyone nervous. Everyone wonders if she's going to pull off a miracle or if she's already a goner. She walks back in, and the room breathes a collective, heavy sigh of relief. She's exhausted, grabbing a potion immediately. Everyone assumes she failed, but she's got that smug look of a winner. They rush over, just glad she's still breathing. He asks her the golden question. Was the sword worth the hype, or did he sell her a total lemon? Caught off guard, he's instantly swept into an intense, heart-stopping embrace. The tension in the room is absolutely electric. He's completely stunned. Someone get this girl some personal space before he passes out. He's panicking internally. 1 minute he's a landlord. The next he's being dragged into a full-blown romantic hallucination. She confirms it. Without that sword, she would have been dead meat. She cleared the 62nd floor. He wonders if he's dreaming again, but the success is very, very real. With that sword in her hands, she's already eyeing the 66th floor as her next big conquest. Meanwhile, the public is wondering if Yuchio Min has completely lost his mind. while news of the holy sword spreads like wildfire. The thought of that sword in the wrong hands is enough to keep anyone up at night. Bong Juhyuk is becoming a legend, and the administration is starting to realize they've been sleeping on a literal gold mine. She admits the blade is a bit banged up, but he doesn't care. He's already thinking about the massive profit margins. He's relieved. If the repair costs are low, he can keep this cash cow running for a long, long time. He suggests she just buy it, but she's too smart for that. She knows the rental market is where the real money is. They pitch him the idea. Don't sell it, rent it out to the highest bidder. With hundreds of towers worldwide, the potential for international rentals is absolutely insane. 10 billion won per session. He's basically a warlord of the economy now. They ask if he has any concerns, but he's too busy counting the zeros in his head to complain. A rental business for a holy item? That is the absolute definition of free money. He cuts them a deal of 1 billion won, and they're so grateful they're practically bowing at his feet. The pot bubbles with anticipation as thick slabs of pork belly simmer to perfection. This mouth-watering feast is ready to reach its flavor peak. He's still reeling from the numbers. Being a holy sword lord is way better than being a landlord. It's Boss Sam time. He treats the team to a massive feast, and honestly, they deserve every bite. The summons are genuinely touched that he cooked for them. It's the little things that keep the team from revolting. He tells them to eat up, fully aware that his bank account is about to explode thanks to his new business model. By evening, the news is everywhere. The 62nd floor has been cleared, and the secret is out. The media is painting him as a hero, and Yu Cheol-min is becoming a distant memory. Talk about a major glow-up. 10 days later, he's back to the grind, farming the 28th floor and ignoring the troll-infested 29th for a little peace and quiet. Finally, the moment he's been waiting for. The random summon cooldown is done. He's prepped, cleaned, and dressed to impress the system gods. He's starving after the fast, so he's praying for a massive win to make it all worth it. He even drank purified water. If that doesn't count as a spiritual ritual, nothing does. The countdown hits the final seconds. He's begging for an LSSR ranker this time. No exceptions. His teammates tell him to chill, but he's not taking any chances. No more Argobang weirdness. Hey, don't hate on the muscle. Gobang has his uses, even if he is a bit simple. He tries to play it off, but everyone knows he's just as desperate for a top-tier summon as he is. He shoots a glare at the team, daring them to laugh at his expense. The clock ticks down. 3, 2, the summon lights up. It's a high ranker, and it looks like a total winner. A chilling, confident smirk spreads across their lips. Whatever chaos is coming next, they're ready for it. She steps out, introducing herself as Giant Daola, and she looks like she means business. With a rank of 327 and a mysterious type, she's clearly going to be a total game changer. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. The humble maiden Giant Dowry steps forward, bowing low to offer her eternal service to the young master. She pledges her absolute, unwavering loyalty to none other than young Master Bong. A system window flickers into existence, revealing her elite status. Giant Dowry, a special super rare, SSR, shaman. The room temperature plummets as a mysterious, towering figure looms over the group, radiating pure, unadulterated power. The young master breaks into a cold sweat, panicking at the mere sight of such a high-ranking, high-maintenance summon. The air crackles with intense, mystical energy as her rank is officially confirmed by the system. Despite her humble tone, she vows to pour every ounce of her soul into serving her new master. The group is left absolutely stunned. A sword-bearing shaman? Now that's a first. She turns her gaze toward the room, blissfully unaware that she's currently the absolute center of attention. Suddenly, she snaps, her eyes flashing with fury at the way the group is ogling her. She demands they stop staring at her like a commoner, threatening a severe flogging for their lecherous glares. Talk about a warm welcome. She issues a stern warning. Harbor any dark thoughts, and face divine punishment. The young master is sweating buckets already. The protagonist's composure completely shatters as he lets out a desperate, high-pitched scream. His companion shoots him an icy, unimpressed glare. The young master wonders if having a normal summon is just completely impossible for him. He realizes her S-rank status makes her a powerhouse capable of rivaling his absolute strongest allies. He can't help but feel small under her intense, regal charisma. The tension in the room is suffocating as she shoots a piercing, suspicious glare. Someone is definitely about to get caught in a lie. Her profile confirms it. She is a strict, solemn shaman of the Imperial Shrine. Her serious nature is practically written in her DNA. The young master wonders if his pathetic ritual, a bowl of water and some frantic pleading, actually worked or if he just got lucky. He dives deep into the memories of his new summon, desperate to uncover her mysterious past. The background blurs as he is pulled into the depths of her tragic history. Giandauri was a royal princess of the Heavenly Empire, born into a life of absolute shamanic devotion. Tragedy struck when her father died and her brother was brutally murdered by their own uncle, the usurper. Consumed by blind rage, she unleashed a forbidden death hex to claim her bloody vengeance. Her uncle prepared for the end, lining the palace with complex magical arrays to halt her wrath. He even tried to use a sacrificial scapegoat to soak up the curse, but he severely underestimated her raw power. Having served the chief deity her entire life, she was undeniably the greatest shaman of her entire generation. She unleashes the death hex, a terrifying force of nature that no mere mortal can hope to withstand. The palace echoes with screams as the curse tears through everything in its path. However, the heavens always demand a steep price for such a reckless display of power. She achieved her revenge, but the backlash of the hex claimed her life in the process. Talk about a bittersweet victory. Her rigid, prickly personality finally makes sense after seeing the tragic life of a princess-turned-avenger. The young master feels a genuine pang of pity. Her past is as bitter as it is impressive. He gathers his courage to ask her about the history of her world. She identifies the great Emperor Jian I as the legendary founder who united the lands. He conquered the wicked clans and forged the nation into the Heavenly Empire. The young master realizes with a jolt that this isn't his world's history. This is a parallel timeline. The realization hits him hard. They are dealing with a completely divergent reality. He maps out the timeline, realizing the branches of history split during the later Three Kingdoms period. He acknowledges her royal pedigree. Her natural-born charisma is definitely on another level. The group tries to grab some ramen, but Giandauri is horrified by their complete lack of etiquette. The young master rushes to cook, but Giandauri is already losing what little patience she has left. She berates the other summons, calling them arrogant for letting their master do all the kitchen work. She demands they get up and help, effectively scaring the living daylights out of everyone present. The other summons are annoyed, but they know better than to mess with an SSR-rank lady holding a massive grudge. She threatens to cast a nasty curse on them just to teach them some basic manners. The summons, terrified of her ancient magic, scramble to comply before they end up as test subjects. Even the most bloodthirsty monsters know when to fold. It's hilarious seeing these killers terrified of a bit of bad luck. They agree to head into the tower together, with Giandauri promising her absolute service. He realizes having her around might actually be a blessing, if only to keep the other chaotic summons in line. She continues to lecture the group on proper behavior while the young master just tries to survive the awkward conversation. He sets a clear goal for the floor, hoping to finish the dungeon without too much extra drama. The summons swear their loyalty, ready to lay down their lives for him if necessary. Giandauri finally softens, realizing they aren't as hopeless as she originally thought. It seems the pecking order has been firmly established, and she is sitting comfortably at the top. The mission objective flashes: defeat 80 trolls and 1 twin-headed boss within 13 hours. The clear conditions are locked in and the stakes are higher than ever. The young master wonders if she'll be using dark curses or something more direct in the upcoming fight. A mysterious device suddenly manifests out of thin air, catching everyone off guard. The game has just changed forever. It's a portable speaker. Talk about bringing your own custom boss fight soundtrack to a massacre. She admits she usually needs a drummer, but this will have to do for her ritual. A colossal titan unleashes a bone-crushing blow, but his agile foe is already closing in for a lethal counterattack. The battlefield erupts in tension. The music starts, and the ritual begins in earnest. A sudden realization strikes, freezing him in his tracks. The tension is palpable as he locks onto an unexpected threat. A lethal target lock snaps into place as the system marks its prey. There's no escaping the cold, calculated gaze of death. She chants a powerful prayer, calling upon the gods to strike down the wicked spirits. A shamanic ritual deep inside the Black Tower. The monsters have no idea what kind of doom is coming their way. The energy begins to pulse violently through the room. The buff takes effect, and the air grows heavy with overwhelming power. Something truly incredible is happening right before their eyes. Gobang begins to grow in size, his body expanding with sheer divine strength. His skin hardens until it's as tough as tempered steel. A single, earth-shattering strike sends the enemy forces flying. Absolute carnage unfolds as he obliterates everything in his path. The young master can hardly believe his eyes. This is pure overkill. Her powerful buffs have heightened their senses, making them deadlier than ever before. She's not just a cursed princess. She's an S-tier support unit. The trolls are sluggish, trapped in her debuff field while the team mows them down like grass. The young master feels invincible, his fighting spirit reaching an all-time high. A troll lets out a final, pathetic cry before being crushed into nothingness. Giandalry insists he stay out of the fray, but he has an itch to get his hands dirty. He tries to argue that he's just a beta male who wants to hunt, but she isn't buying his excuses. She refuses to let him risk his neck, even as he pleads to get in on the action. The mission is cleared, but the young master feels like he missed out on all the fun. He whines about not getting a single kill, realizing he should have ignored her strict orders. The air thickens with dread as an unexpected encounter catches him completely off guard. Paralyzed by fear, he stares in disbelief at the figure looming before him. If you're enjoying this recap, smash that like button and subscribe for more. Wait, is she actually crying? The tables have certainly turned.